I got a bit of a wacky rant for you here today, so I hope you're feeling particularly goofy, quirky, and Lord help me, I'm going to say it, maybe even a little zany. Panera Bread. I'm almost ashamed to admit it now, but I used to be an avid consumer of Panera Bread. For the better part of 2 years, it was my go-to post-workout meal, meaning I would have it like 5 times a week. Side note, I just watched that clip back in editing. The fucking Planet Smoothie logo faced the camera directly. It almost looked like a Death Stranding Monster Energy ad right there. I'm not sponsored by Planet Smoothie. I just got this because I was fucking thirsty is all. But yeah, I would have Panera Bread like 5 times a week post-workout. And even though it was more expensive than all of the alternatives, it felt worth it to me because it was a high-quality meal, or at least I felt like it was. It tasted great. It tasted fresh. So I really, really enjoyed it. But over time, it got shitified. And I know you hear this a lot for a ton of things. It did get worse. And in Panera's case, it literally did change for the worse. And I'm clearly not alone here in this thought because Panera sales and traffic has been declining. You can look that up yourself. And at least in my local areas, like the Paneras I used to go to, are significantly less full. They're far more empty. It's like Call of Duty 4. 50,000 people used to eat soup here. Now it's a ghost town. And it's because people are just choosing any other option really at this point. And I saw an article today, and it's what sparked this rant here from me, made me put on the diaper and start whining, because the article does point out some very strong contributing factors for why Panera has been spiraling down the shitter, but it also leaves out what I believe to be the biggest reason for people's abandonment of this brand. So I just kind of wanted to get into the weeds of it here and show you the article, but before doing that, I want to give a very special thanks to something special. Big thanks to Old School RuneScape for sponsoring this video. I'm sure all of you know this by now. The first entirely new skill in Old School RuneScape history is launching today. That's right, sailing is finally here. I think also a lot of you know that I am a hardcore RuneScape player. I started back in 4th grade and I finally maxed my account 2 years ago. And it is still one of my crowning gaming achievements. I am a huge old school RuneScape enthusiast, and I am extremely excited to get my max cape back once sailing drops, because I'm going to have to 99 it to get my max cape again. So, the race to world first 99 for sailing starts today. I will be participating. Without exaggeration, this is the biggest update in old school RuneScape history. Sailing offers a whole new way of exploring Gielinor here. It's also a skill that's trained through a variety of means, whether it's salvaging shipwrecks, exploration, racing, port tasks, and it's one that of course can be experienced with your friends as well. You can have NPC crewmates, or you can have your friends crew with you, and there's new enemies, new resources, just so much here that I'm extremely excited to sink my teeth into. So if you've never played old school RuneScape, now is the perfect time to start. You can click the link in the description below. I've always said it's a game with infinite content. Like if you could only choose one game to play for the rest of your life, you can't go wrong with old school RuneScape because you will literally never run out of things to do. So thanks again to Old School RuneScape for sponsoring this video. I'm super excited for sailing. Panera lost diners by cutting portions and staff. It's reversing course to win them back. Panera Bread has unveiled a turnaround strategy to reverse years of traffic declines. Basically goes on to recount the glory days, but now it's kind of falling into the fucking back rooms here. And you don't typically hear a lot of glaze for Panera in the modern conversation when it comes to eating options. Now, the article's not wrong here. This is a contributing factor to Panera's decline and fucking death spiral here. It has definitely lost consumers because of portion sizes and being extremely expensive for the morsels that you get. You'll pay like fucking 20 bucks for half a tiddlywink of a sandwich and a cup of soup. That's not a great deal unless that is the best goddamn half a sandwich and cup of soup of your life, or it also comes with like a stripper that'll give you a lap dance for free. It's just not great value, and that's obviously played a huge role here, but I think there's more than the article is talking about that I want to dive into the spaghetti and meatballs of. But before doing that, let's go ahead and look at what the article highlights. It talks about the shrinking sandwiches and salad sizes, and they're right, those have shrunk a lot, it feels like. These sandwiches are made for fucking ants. You can finish these in 2 big boy bites, and you're paying so much money for the privilege of being able to have, you know, scraps. And now Panera is trying to undo that. They're planning to reinvest into the business and undo many of the cost-cutting measures that they've taken. Imagine that. It looks like cost-cutting measures kind of deteriorate businesses. Like, the cycle is super simple. You see it all the time. A business comes up, it does really well because it's doing something different or it's delivering a high-quality product that people want. Eventually it sells, like Panera did. And then it's all about finding more and more ways to squeeze as much money out of it as they possibly can by looking at cost-cutting procedures. And when you start that process, the quality of the product suffers. And then people don't want it anymore because they were used to a better product. Why the fuck are they going to settle for something worse? They'll just go somewhere else. It rinse and repeat forever. We've seen this millions of times. Panera is the most recent example. So now they had this huge eureka moment. What if we unfuck it? Could that save us? And to me, the answer is no. But I want to tell you their cute little plan that they've come up with here. They call it Panera Rise. It's like a phoenix rising from the ashes of Panera. It's adorable to call it Panera Rise. It makes it sound like they're leading some kind of revolution here. Honestly, just sounding like some shit out of the Hunger Games, but the company aims to refresh its menu, focus on value, improve its service, and build new restaurants. That last one there is pretty ambitious. When people are already not choosing Panera, you're going to try and build more restaurants when the interest couldn't be lower. It is a bold strategy. Very, very ambitious indeed. Now, I'll give some credit where credit is due. This is at least somewhat honest here, saying, we squeezed food costs, we squeezed labor. They did. He then also identifies himself as a reformed CFO. It's really about death by 1,000 paper cuts. It truly is. He then goes in to talk about, like, for example, their salads where once it was all romaine, in order to save money, they started mixing half romaine, half iceberg, but nobody wants fucking iceberg. This next one was pretty interesting, actually, about the cherry tomato and the avocado. So apparently, Panera is one of only a few restaurants that don't slice the cherry tomatoes in half, which is apparently a decision they made, like a conscious decision to save on labor costs. We make the guests chase the cherry tomato around the bowl. I don't... Call me a fucking Cro-Magnon if you'd like. How does that save on labor costs? To, like, take 2 seconds to slice a cherry tomato? Or, in the case of the avocado, they don't slice it, or pre-slice it. They give you, like, a halved, full fucking avocado, I guess. But now it's, like, a huge, powerful Panera Rise moment where next year they're going to start slicing the cherry tomatoes and avocados. I just don't understand why they weren't in the first place. I don't see how that saves on labor costs. Were they able to, like, avoid hiring more workers because of not slicing those? Like, do they have dedicated cherry tomato and avocado slicers? I doubt it. I don't know. Or is it like a whole nother training thing that they'd have to spend money on? I don't see why. I feel like anyone could probably slice a cherry tomato or avocado slice it. Like, it's... I don't know, I don't really understand that at all. But that was pretty interesting to read. Then he addresses the portion sizes. In some instances, we shrunk portions so guests would walk into our cafe to buy a sandwich that's gone up significantly in price with lower quality ingredients and a smaller size. Again, credit where credit's due, that is pretty honest. That is exactly right. You can taste that it is significantly lower quality food, and you're still paying a premium price for it. They then go on to toot their own horn about, refreshing their menu, delivering some new items. And the article actually does make a mention of the charged lemonade, which was basically just serving up customers meth. And apparently 2 people had died from it, filed lawsuits against Panera, which I believe have been settled now. But yeah, this is their big strategy, is unfuck it. But only kind of. They don't want to fully take their dick out of their ass. They are targeting these things, which are big deals. Like, I don't want to downplay it. Like, these are obviously contributing factors for why people haven't been choosing Panera as much. But one of the biggest things that people loved about Panera, and what set them apart from a lot of their competition, was their fresh baked bread. And guess what? That is not being changed. If you don't know, last year Panera set in motion the termination of their fresh dough facilities. So prior, Panera would have fresh dough delivered to their locations where it'd be basically nice, fresh, beautiful bread loaves. And it's what people like myself love the most about it. But last year, in order to save money, they switched to a par-baked model, meaning that breads, bagels, and pastries arrive at stores partially baked outside and finished on site. And the company is trying to blow smoke up everyone's asses about you won't notice a difference in taste or quality, which is just a load of barnacles. That's just fucking horseradish. You do notice a difference in the quality of that product. And if you just look at the timeline, I think it's pretty clear there's a strong correlation that when Panera was at its best, at its peak, it had 24 fresh dough facilities across the US. And now, while it's in its decline, they only have 9, which will soon be reduced to 0 over the next 2 years. Like, I think it should be pretty obvious that people liked the fresh dough being a defining feature of Panera. And they also then say that of the hundreds of jobs that are affected, they're trying to offer other positions to help them find work through Panera. And that Panera is saying that the strategy will open the door to new locations in areas that were once too far from its fresh dough facilities. Thus, fewer logistical barriers could mean faster growth for the chain and fresher bagels at 4 p.m. if the company's plan actually works. Which I don't think it will. Well, rather, I don't think it should. And this is the biggest thing to me, and why the article made me want to rant about it, because it is highlighting some contributing factors for why people don't like Panera anymore. And they're very legitimate factors. But in an effort from the CFO here, the reformed CFO, to try and puff up his chest and be like, look at me, I'm the good guy, I listen to all of you. Listen, I hear all of you plebeians, and we are going to do our best to undo all of these terrible changes we've done over the years. He's saying all of these things, and he is making some changes, it seems, but one of the biggest things is still actively implemented, which is a cost-cutting procedure, which is closing all of their fresh dough facilities, meaning that there's still not going to be any of that fresh dough delivered there. They switched to a model that is significantly cheaper, with a significantly lower quality product. So he could flap his gums till the cows come home about how he's, rolling everything back that made Panera so bad recently. But the truth is, behind the scenes, they are still ultimately focused first and foremost on that bottom line and saving money, pinching pennies everywhere they can. And that is coming at the cost of a high quality product, which was once that fresh dough facility delivered to these locations for the fresh products that I and many others liked Panera for. That is not changing. That is not being unfucked. I just don't see this being enough. It's certainly not for me to want to march back into a Panera right away. Oh, you're cutting the cherry tomatoes and avocados now. Holy fuck, I'm out the door. I can't wait to get to my local Panera to get some of that. Like, yeah, maybe the portion size is a little increased too, but the quality is still the same and it's still expensive. What the fuck is the point? It is still worse than it was because of their biggest cost-cutting measure, which is closing all of these fresh dough facilities because it's going to save them so much money switching to this cheaper method and this worse product. That has not changed. Thus, I will still not be going to Panera Bread as my first choice for any kind of meals anytime soon. I don't see why anyone would. It's still not great value. This shit is just so stupid every time. A business gets bought, and then immediately the mission becomes cost cutting to make even more money off of it. And in doing so, ruining the core defining features of it. In this case, the fresh fucking dough. That was a massive selling point of it to consumers, and it's gone. And it's still gone, even though they're trying to put out all these big PR, fluff pieces about, like, we've listened, we're rolling things back. You're rolling some things back, sure, but not everything, not the actual biggest cost-cutting thing that you implemented very recently, which is closing all of these. That is still in effect. So to me, this is all just meaningless marketing speak here to try and desperately claw back some consumers that have lost all their faith in this brand. And anyway, I just wanted to rant about this a little bit. That's it. See ya. Raise your hand if you've heard of the Talabi sisters. Wow, no hands, huh? That's surprising considering their strong presence on Instagram. They each have over 1 million followers. And recently they fell into some hot water after they were outed as scammers. And people took a bit of a deeper look into the Talabi sisters, and it turns out everything that they associate with and everything they claim to like own, all the pies that they apparently have their fingers in, are make-believe, most likely. There's no evidence any of it's even real. So there's also a very good chance that their strong Instagram numbers are also just fraudulent. It's most likely botted, which isn't unique to the Talabi sisters. I'm sure most of you have heard of that phenomenon on Instagram specifically. These phantom influencers with millions of followers, but you'll click on one of their posts and it has like 15 likes and a single comment from some drooling gooner who doesn't realize it's not real. But in most cases, those are fake people. Like, they don't exist. Sometimes AI, sometimes just like random Photoshop shit. In the Talabi sisters' case, it's a little bit more unique because they do actually exist. And their origin goes as far back as like 6 years ago, trying to get their name out there on Dr. Phil, showing off some crazy dance moves that puts JoJo Siwa to shame. Like, they hit some of the wacky ones out there because they're really desperate to be influencers. And now, fast forward to today, 6 years later, they have these accounts with over 1 million followers each, and they're leveraging those numbers to try and get free things.
Influencer ripped off a family-owned small business for hundreds of dollars of food, and she thought she'd get away with it. So Leah here is an influencer who reached out to this Chinese restaurant in LA and asked if they would give her and her sister free food in exchange for content.
Ah yes, the classic Galaxy Brain influencer scheme here of, you give us free shit and we'll give you one of these. It's just always a terrible deal for whatever company that's working with one of these worms. Leah hopped on the horn, tossed out the cold call asking if they'd be interested in collabing. They said, sure, we'll accommodate. They set a time, then she says that her and her sister will be joined with another food influencer who will be with them. They confirm that they can accommodate and then ask like what the deliverables will be. Will the food influencer post as well? Leah confirms, yes, everyone will post. So they get excited saying, perfect. Collaboration we had previously. You will receive 1 drink per person, 1 appetizer per person, 1 entree per person, 1 dessert per person in exchange for 1 Instagram reel and TikTok, 1 Instagram story mention, to which Leah responds, perfect, that works! So now the contract has been signed, the deal with the devil has been made, and they've got a date with 3 of the most insufferable fucking losers you'll ever meet in your life, I'm sure. I guarantee they were probably such a nuisance to serve at the restaurant. I already know.
Leah agrees, but then says she's actually showing up with a group of 6 people. Her justification for this is that she's showing up with a bunch of big food creators and publications who are going to highlight the restaurant. You can see she lists them off here.
Jeepers, she's got the whole bang bus pulling up here full of food influencers, ready to just go hog wild in this restaurant and highlight everything to promote them. We can provide a mix of Instagram reels, stories, and tag posts to highlight your menu, ambiance, and experience, and then list some of the profiles that will be attending. LA Food Magazine, Food Journal Magazine, Food Life Magazine, and let's not forget the most important toilet paper of them all, the Talabi's Instagram account. So now Leah Talabi has changed the terms of the deal. Now she's looking to have the entire fucking football team here come through the LA influencer circuit to run a train on this restaurant here. But, I mean, honestly, it's coming out of the goodness of the Talabi heart because they want to just highlight the restaurant. Honestly, they're looking out for them, clearly. They want what's best for the restaurant. So now she's got some of her very powerful food influencer friends representing prestigious magazines, and I already know they're going to be serving up smiles. The staff is going to be pleased to be around them, no doubt. And based on the dance moves and the attitude I saw from the Talabi sisters in the Dr. Phil segment, I already know they are fucking insufferable to be around. I bet they are these reckless oafs in public. Like, I just have this image of them sitting at the table like fucking SpongeBob at the Goofy Goober ice cream parlor, just slamming on the table, waiter! Waiter! Waiter!
Leah and her group then rack up a $450 tab. She posts a couple of stories and they leave. Now a few weeks pass and nobody from that group has posted what Leah promised, so the restaurant does some digging after Leah ignores their messages. Remember those big food content creators that Leah said she was bringing? Well, the restaurant reached out to one of them directly, and they have no idea about this dinner or Leah.
When I heard that stunning revelation, I had to stand up from my seat, hands on my hips. I couldn't believe it. You're telling me that was a lie? You're telling me her food influencer friends didn't actually represent those magazines, and when contacted directly, the magazines denied ever even having heard of the Talibis? What kind of... Saying it out loud, I'm stunned all over again. You're telling me that the Talibis would lie? Oh, it's like venom leaving my lips. I just couldn't even imagine them doing something like that. They seem like such good-natured, wholesome people. Surely the stories are on their way. They represent these magazines. They're busy. The pipeline gets full. They're probably still in the process of writing up a 100-page epic novella all covering this experience they had dining in at that restaurant for free. And surely the promised posts from the Talibi twins are on their way. That's probably still just bogged down in editing. They probably sent it out to like Nolan's editors, in order to really spruce it up and make it the best it can be for some high quality content that the Talibi sisters have become known for. Now, dropping the sarcasm. So, I think it's pretty clear what the scam is. They use these numbers on their Instagram account to go to these companies and these businesses in order to pitch these collaborations to get free shit out of it. And these companies agree because they think that they'll get good promotion out of it. But the reality of the situation is they don't really see anything from it. And in the case of the Talibi sisters, they don't even get the agreed upon posts or anything either. They just end up being out hundreds of product with nothing to show for it at all. And the Talibi sisters seem to bring their friends into the deals. So, like, instead of it just being the Talibi twins, they then bring in a bunch of their friends in order to maximally fist these businesses. And in the case of this restaurant, this is just a small family-owned business. And $450 bill that the Talibis did not pay and seemingly have no interest in paying is not feeling good on a business like that. And that sucks. That really sucks. The name of the restaurant was Men and Beasts, I believe. And the Talibis have now just gone radio silent. They privated their accounts because a lot of people were clowning on them for it and asking if they'll ever go back and pay their tab. And the answer is most likely no. They probably won't. And if that's where the story stopped, there'd be the same old thing that we've seen from countless influencers before them. But they go the extra mile. There is a follow-up here. They have a response, a legal response.
A few days ago, I posted about this influencer who lied to a restaurant to get hundreds of dollars of free food. Well, Leah here saw the video and she didn't like it. She had her lawyer Ryan Sauter of Sauter Law Group send me an email demanding that I remove the video or face potential legal action for defamation. Now, there's only one small problem with this. Ryan Sauter isn't a lawyer and Sauter Law Group doesn't exist.
No way! You mean to tell me that the Talibi twins didn't hire the most prestigious lawyer under the sun? Instead, they made up the boogeyman lawyer, Ryan Sauter? No. He's like the cleaner. You just can't find any information on him. He's that hardcore. That must be what's going on. He's deep cover right now. There's no way that something the Talibi sisters did is fake and not real. That just doesn't check out. That doesn't pass the smell test at all. Also, I love the thought process here, or really lack thereof, from these fucking sisters. All right, how can we make this even worse? Let's go ahead and sue the guy for defamation. Well, that's what we'll try. That's always worked. But then one of them must have piped up and said, wait a minute, we can't afford a lawyer. All right, plan B, what if we pretend we're suing him, we'll make up our own lawyer with the help of ChatGPT, and we'll send him a scary email from this supposed lawyer, and that'll bully him into silence. He'll be shaking in his boots. We'll send shivers down his spine with Ryan Sauter, our make-believe lawyer. Yeah, that'll do it.
You see, what Leah and Ryan fail to realize is there's this thing called the California State Bar, which has a database of every licensed attorney in the state of California. And there's no record of a Ryan Sauter. Oh, but it gets better. The business address that Ryan lists in his email signature is associated with a real office building, and that office building has a phone number. And by calling that phone number, I discovered that there's no record of a tenant named Sauter Law Group, and the suite number that Ryan listed is associated with a reception desk.
You fool! What you fail to realize is all of that information is correct. He doesn't work at the reception desk. His office is underneath it, buried 15 levels below ground. He's a subterranean lawyer specializing in only the most serious of defamation cases. Ryan Sauter is the danger. They have to keep him underground in order to even remotely contain his power. It's like in Men in Black when they take the elevator and they go like 10 stories down to find all the aliens and shit. That's where Ryan Sauter thrives, in that environment. So you think you've cracked the case, but you've only exposed your own ignorance to the grand scheme of the Talabi sisters and Ryan Sauter.
Now, you know what is illegal in California? Impersonating an attorney, and rest assured that I am reporting Ryan to the proper authorities. And finally, to Leah, who I know will watch this, you could have just taken some accountability and we all could have moved on. But instead, you and your friend tried to bully somebody but happened to run into the wrong person at the wrong time. Anyways, I would start looking for a real lawyer real soon, buddy.
Unfortunately, I doubt anything's gonna come from that report. I feel like that's the conclusion right there to this whole saga. There's not gonna be anything that's done about it. It's not like the Talabi sisters are gonna be punished for it. Ryan Sauter's not gonna be fucking perp-walked or whatever for pretending to be a lawyer. Fucking half of LA is probably pretending to be a lawyer right now. Everyone's probably impersonating a lawyer out there. So I don't think there'll be any like follow-up or anything from the Talabi sisters or any like legal things that unfold from this. But they are just big assholes. The Talabi sisters are using this fake big number on their platforms to leverage free things and free services. There was another individual that came forward telling a similar story of their experience with Talabi sisters. So this is something they have done way more than once from the sound of things. And now, the story doesn't quite stop there. So Atozi recently covered this, and he went even deeper than just like the surface level stuff on their Instagram and like these kind of little scams that they like to run. He looked into everything the Talabi sisters have ever really put their hands in. And it seems like pretty much all of it is fake or at the very least extremely shady.
I did after just doing a little bit of digging. Because when everything went down, I also noticed two other accounts that Sarah tagged in her bio that both seem to be run by the sisters, at least in some capacity. So you have the Talabi report, where the girls, I guess, LARP as fashion and trend journalists.
So you can look forward to the Talabi report. We're doing new episodes weekly about all the new trends and beauty trends around the world.
Unfortunately, the Talabi report is also privated, so as you can see, I'm looking a little raggedy right now because I haven't been able to tune in and get the latest in fashion advice and fashion trends. Lord help all of us. Hopefully they won't stay private for long, because what's the world going to do without their insightful, sage wisdom in the world of fashion?
And then you have Visualist Mag, which is described as a leading cultural force distinguished in its rare intersection of art, film, and fashion. There is nothing rare about that intersection. That is the most LA intersection I have ever heard of. Art, film, and fashion. That sounds like half the people in LA.
That gave me quite a giggle, because that truly is shockingly stupid. That is one of the most nothing burger sentences to describe something you could possibly drum up. Hot take, I don't think they AI generated that. I think that is fresh out of the empty thought factory of the Talabi sisters. I think that is their own brand of stupidity right there. They probably thought they were doing something unheard of before. They said it couldn't be done, like cold fusion, but we are going to be the intersection, this rare intersection between art, film, and fashion. Yes, the Holy Trinity.
It's starting to feel like everything the Talabi twins are known for seems to be something of their own creation that they're using puff pieces to try to make look legitimate. For instance, they're supposed to be filmmakers at Changemaker Studios, according to a very flattering Forbes article and IMDb. And the reason I say puff pieces is because all of these articles seem to be by the same group of people, so they could be paid for. Who knows though? But the two quote-unquote documentaries they have said that they directed, produced, and starred in, they're nowhere to be found. I couldn't find them online.
That's because these aren't movies to be watched, you imbecile. These are movies to be imagined, and the Talabi sisters take us on a thought journey by dumping empty IMDb pages for these fictitious films. It's actually so incredible. They don't even bother like botting the IMDb pages or anything, so there's literally 0 reviews. These movies actually don't exist. They never existed, and it's not like they were only shown in film festivals or in person, like you had to be there to see them or something. They are actually just not real. It's just a lie. But they did it because they wanted to have those credits so that way they looked more legitimate, it seems. So they're directors, they're stars in movies.
Not to mention, they have suspiciously generic titles and themes, so trying to find confirmation of their existence becomes nearly impossible. And again, this seems to be kind of a theme. For every Talabi business I could find, there's a legitimate one with a similar, if not identical name and model that floods the search results with confusing links and AI explanations. Have a fashion marketing agency called La Lux V that supposedly merged with PR powerhouse agency Koch PR Group. But the problem is when you go to this powerhouse website, it looks very amateur. Honestly, go to a media school and give them 5 minutes in Canva and they can make something better than this. But regardless, there's like no information on this website and you have to give them your contact information if you want to find out more. But again, what do you know? There actually is a legit Koch PR company that comes up when you search them up, muddying the waters yet again.
When you look up this merger of the Talabi sisters company with Koch, the only 2 articles you can find are from the same place called PR Underground. Now, I'm not familiar with PR Underground. I don't know what the vetting process is. But is there a chance that this is just, once again, not real? There's a high likelihood. It's more likely than you might think. Talabi sisters still make bullshit up the old-fashioned way, it seems. At least, that's the impression I get.
Anonymous tip to Dumoy, which is a celebrity gossip page, and they got called out for trying to pretend that they hooked up with Timothy Chalamet and Leonardo DiCaprio at Coachella. Again, I mean, they are just desperate for any attention whatsoever.
I just looked at the Leonardo DiCaprio message I got from a Finsta, spotted Leo DiCaprio at Coachella party with model Leah Talabi, her sister. They were kissing and cuddling the whole time. So these sisters were trying to set me up to post that one was making out with Timmy and one was making out with Leo.
Actually trying everything to just get their names out there for a crumb of attention. So they submitted their own anonymous tips to this gossip page about how one of the sisters was making out with Timothy Chalamet and the other was with Leonardo DiCaprio.
And Sarah wasted no time capitalizing on the gossip. So she was speaking out about this all over the place, except all she was doing was avoiding confirming or denying the rumors, trying to just garner sympathy and promoting another book that I couldn't find anywhere. Because when I tried to look up that book, I found an article referencing another book, and I can't find that other book either.
Such a glorious and pathetic mess. These fucking sisters are so embarrassingly cringe. Holy shit. So yeah, they submit their own anonymous tip, and it loosely got picked up by others, not even as like a rumor, just more of like something to make fun of. Like, people were just insulting the Talabi sisters for this obviously fake baloney, because when they were asked for evidence like a pic or something, they just then ghosted, they just vanished. So then they also tried to weigh in about, like, you know, the mental toll that this secret relationship with Timothy Chalamet had on her, and then also tried to like shout out a book that didn't exist that was also referenced in another book that also doesn't seem to exist. It's, oh my god, it's actually incredible. Their entire lives are just lies. Like, everything they do is just a lie, it seems. There's nothing true or real about them. What the fuck? Actually, just a wild little story here and a look at some real freaks. So yeah, I wanted to just yap about this a bit. That's it. See ya.
Okay, I'm going.
This is Burger King?
McDonald's.
McDonald's.
The Grinch. We'll have Burger King later. That's in the next video.
Okay, this is the McDonald's Grinch meal.
Which, if you look at the box, it says, "This was my idea, Grinch." So he came up with this, and it says,
That's
"Festive, ew, Merry Grinchmas."
The McShaker fries, all for me. It's empty.
Did you ever do McShaker fries?
I don't know what that is.
I think actually you saying that shows no.
Yeah, what is
Let
it?
me teach you. Get your fries out.
Also, our driver stole all of our fries.
Yeah, I got extra ones. So screw
Take your
you,
bag.
Pop.
Okay.
You're gonna open the bag. You're gonna dump your fries in. I think they still do these in Japan, if I'm not mistaken. But they stopped here years ago. Now pull out your dill pickle seasoning.
My dill pickle seasoning, huh?
Are you a pickle fan usually? Like on
I like
stuff?
pickles, yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
No,
You're
pickles
gonna-
are good.
You're gonna open your
wow.
seasoning,
Mhm.
and you're gonna dump it in the bag.
Oh yeah,
Make sure to get it all out.
that's very, very pickly.
Mhm.
They did a good job on that. And then I'm guessing this.
You're gonna, yeah. You do that, and then you mix shake them. Is this good for the audio?
Yeah. Here, I'll take the camera too.
4 sprinkle roll shake, yeah.
Oh.
I forgot the roll.
I did that part. Yeah, I almost told you. They always said you roll it so the seasoning doesn't come out.
Very cool.
I can't believe you've never had
I've
shaker
never even
fries.
heard of shaker fries.
I don't remember the seasonings they used to have.
Wow, that didn't spread very evenly.
No, yours did
That's
not.
'cause
Look
you
at
didn't
mine.
roll
Look
it.
how beautiful it is.
Ah, well, a lot of good pickle coming in.
You want
I
me to
guess.
shake it for you?
No, I'm fine. I made my bed. I'll lie in it. Wow. Can you see that?
Yeah, you got a lot on that
All right,
puppy.
maybe I will. I'm gonna mix shake that shit again. Right here. That's just an instant kidney
wow.
stone.
I'll try the pickle. Wow.
Oh wow. I'm saying wow for different reasons. My reason is these are good.
That is actually pretty good.
Anyone. Oh yeah, those aren't
Chelsea,
bad.
come have a pickle fry.
expect that to actually be that good.
Yeah.
They did well. They did really well.
Oh, delightful.
Oh, I thought you hated it.
No, that's good.
You
It's a
hate
little
it?
shocking if you're not ready for it, but it actually does taste good.
Except there's something else there.
I should stop.
That's very good. Wow, thank you, Grinch.
You did a great job. What do you do to my nuggets?
They're just, so that's the meal. It's like the shaker fries.
Are there 10
you
nuggets
get
in there?
a toy. I think something.
Is that the toy?
That's the toy. You okay if I open the toy?
Yeah.
I really
Well,
like
you should have one too.
Yeah.
Are they different?
I don't know.
Are there multiple?
They're multiple.
Do you also have
guarantee it.
nuggets?
Yeah. No, I have a Big Mac.
There's a big.
Oh,
The meal
that's
comes Big Mac or chicken nuggets.
And there's nothing special about those?
Other than the shaker fries and toy, I guess.
Well, to answer the Grinch where he says this was my idea, it was a shit idea.
I got
Unless it-
socks.
I got socks too. They're the
Whoa.
same fucking socks.
Same socks.
I think that's a pretty good,
That
like,
is a
as an
good toy.
adult, I
That's a
think
good
that's
toy.
pretty good. I don't know if a kid would like socks, but I would
can't
like
read
socks.
it because it's on the bottom.
I think
Nose hazard. That's I can read, right? That says nose hazard.
Yeah.
you got sticky feet in that.
Yeah, because you're smelly.
I was thinking like somebody would kick me in the face. All right.
Yes, that's what the Grinch is known
All
to
right,
do.
Danny loves socks.
I'll wear those.
All right, and then
Yeah, put this over here.
we got the Big Mac.
Big Mac. Yep,
Big
that's a
Mac.
normal Big Mac.
You don't know that. They gave me sweet and sour sauce, just like the Grinch.
They gave me Big Mac.
Just like the Grinch. Whew.
Am I dumb, or does that patty look a little different?
I don't know.
He just grinched on
No, it
it
looks
a
like there's
little
like egg on it, right? Is it that layer right there? It doesn't look like a little egg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I lettuce.
No, maybe it is just. Yeah, maybe it is.
don't even know if it's any different.
Is it eggy?
No, that's just a Big Mac.
Is it good?
I mean, it's a Big Mac.
Here, I'll try it.
Fine. Fine.
You want a Grinch nugget?
Yeah, I'll take a Grinch nugget. Yep, that's a nugget.
That's a Big Mac. I can't believe it's exactly what Chelsea told us it was.
Yeah.
You got any more Grinch salt to put on the nuggets?
Oh, good idea.
There's none.
Wait, let me have a plain one before you Grinch it up.
Here, I'll take one too. I don't need sauce.
It's like a Skyrim ingredient.
What version of the Grinch is y'all's favorite?
What are my options?
Do you want to
The
know?
original or the Jim Carrey one?
You
Or
want-
the elimination one.
Yeah, the animated.
Oh, I forgot there was a new one.
Definitely the Jim Carrey one.
Yeah, I've only ever seen the Jim Carrey one.
Jim Carrey was made to play the Grinch.
Yeah, have you seen the original animated?
I know.
Oh, wow.
I've only seen the Jim Carrey one. I read it in the book though.
Yeah.
Mm.
I've never watched any of the animated
Show
ones.
it to us in school.
The
Like,
Grinch
if you see this guy,
definitely.
You have to kill him.
There was a really shitty horror Christmas movie that I watched recently where they like the Grinch is the main bad guy. It is probably the worst writing I've ever watched, and it was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful.
That's fun. That's always fun.
You would probably really like it, Charlie.
I think the
I know I
Grinch
would.
was, and this probably isn't a hot take, extremely justified to be the way he was. They were horrible to him.
I don't remember. What did they do to him?
He just was made fun of and bullied everywhere for being green.
Yeah.
It was just racism.
Yeah, but they got over it, alright?
Yeah.
So what was it?
Fair.
So he stole Christmas and then they forgave him? I don't remember the story.
He stole Christmas.
No, he stole Christmas and then he realized his wrongdoings and became
brought
nice.
Christmas back.
Sandy
Yeah.
Lou made his heart
Sandy
beat
Lou.
with normal
Yeah.
size.
The
And then-
one non-racist who treated him like a human being.
Yeah, but
No, go ahead.
essentially, beginning, the umbrellas carrying the babies accidentally blew him into the wrong town. So he was supposed to go to the Grinch land. He ended up in Whoville. Nice nice family
You hate
accepts
to see
him.
that.
Treats him really well. It is.
Yeah, that's the lore.
Nice family accepts him, treats him well. And then as a kid, the mayor fucking shits on him. The kids in his class shit on him. He tries shaving his face. He gets little scabs. They make fun of him. It was just mean, so he hides up in the mountains away from everybody.
The lore is that he was meant to go to a place with other people that look like him.
Right, it's literally racism, the story.
Why was that?
I'm not kidding, it is. Like,
No,
it
I
literally
mean,
is.
The baby delivery system was flawed at the
Yeah.
time. You didn't come out of a person. You came in on an umbrella egg thing.
Right.
How
So
babies are born.
yeah,
Right.
so big
Like,
wind.
it's a battle royale.
Yeah, where he
Legitimately,
dropped,
he was playing Fortnite.
He dropped
and a
in
big gust
Pachinki.
pushed-
So why have we never seen Grinchland?
I'm sure they have they never shown Grinch
It's
Land?
kind of like in Avatar when all the airbenders are dead.
yeah.
That's why
It's
when-
such an untapped market right
It
now.
is. When
Yeah.
he's fixing Christmas, he gets those arrows that start glowing.
Yeah.
Also, this Big Mac was pretty good.
Yeah, it's a Big Mac.
I would say,
I mean, you get a meal.
yeah, very underwhelming.
You get socks.
And you get socks. I appreciate the McShaker fries. That's cute. I
Those are
guess.
great. I think they should bring back shaker fries all the time.
I want another flavor though.
They could have done others.
Yeah, like garlic, parm type stuff like
I
that.
feel like we're not used to. You don't really see McDonald's doing a shit job. They normally put their best forward, like that sweetie meal.
Yeah.
Wait, wasn't that literally just the sauce?
They actually just get. She was like, I like putting nuggets on my burger, so they'd give you nuggets and a burger, so you could put
But
nuggets on.
it
the
did
burger.
have sauce though, if I remember
Oh,
right.
that's right. The sweet,
The
the
Saweetie
Saweetie
sauce.
and sour sauce or something
Oh,
like
Yeah,
that.
so it was something like that. Yeah. They had the BTS one too. That one was the most lazy.
What was that one?
That one was, I think.
It was literally.
Yeah, it was just chicken nuggets. I think they didn't even give you a special sauce. It was just chicken nuggets. No,
And
they
didn't
gave
do anything.
they gave you
different?
sweet and sour sauce as well. I think.
I think they were on
They
the.
No, they gave you the sweetie and sour sauce again.
I think also the Jujutsu Kaisen one was really bad too. That one was just like. A
We
bad
instantly
sauce.
thought of 400 better ideas with that one. Like they didn't do one thing right with that one. This one, they just needed to do more. Like at least make green mayo on the burger or something.
Yeah, it's just very uninspired. No one cares anymore about these collabs from the corporate perspective. They fucked up. Good dill pickle sauce. Their salt though.
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up real quick because I'm pretty sure. Why is my microphone on my phone? Who's listening to me?
You got a wire on you?
He's trying to voice
No.
noise so he never forgets.
Do you think the Grinch, the Grinch saw return on this deal that they put together with McDonald's?
Shot. What do they even get out of this?
The Dr. Seuss estate.
Yeah.
What if when you finish the shaker fries at the bottom of the bag, it says the Grinch will return, and they have like a really gritty remake of the Grinch coming out?
The Grinch Doomsday.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. They have roasted garlic butter shaker fries in Japan. That sounds much better. Ume nori, they're called shaka shaka fries. Red pepper, they have a lot of flavors there.
That's cool.
So,
And they used to do it here?
they did. When did they stop?
It said the 90s when I looked at it.
I was gonna say I don't remember doing them.
Yeah, I don't
I'm
either.
an old man. So, I guess that one was underwhelming.
It was fine though. I liked it. That was a special experience.
Oh, why McDonald's is permanently replacing this from November 23rd. Replacing shaker fries with.
Normal fries.
Okay, this was a scam site that brought me to an AI thing. Whatever. It was fine.
Yeah, it was fine. I mean, it is what it is. It's,
Alright.
it's fucking fries and nuggets. Or fries and a Big Mac.
With one of the disappointing turnouts from McDonald's, do you think Burger King SpongeBob collab beats it or falls flatter?
It can't fall flatter. This is
It can
two
be.
items.
It can be bad though.
It can be bad. Like, it can
Right.
taste bad.
Yeah.
But I feel like as far as, like, what you get, it can't be less than this. Well, actually, I mean, you got socks. You got socks.
I did get socks.
You,
got
you are
socks.
right. We're discounting that because they're not edible. We got
Yeah,
socks
that's true.
and shaker fries.
That's
And
true.
And a box.
And a box.
And a box.
That's true. I didn't think of
Which, remember, it's Burger King. They may not give us a bag or box. They may not do anything for it. It might just be called SpongeBob.
That's true. I just feel like there's no, like, it can't go lower. It's just my hunch.
Well, and as Burger King says, we can.
they do typically do that, yeah.
Are we doing... I know your answer based on the extent of what was in this. You want one video or two?
Let's see the Burger King meal.
All right,
'cause
show
All right.
Just in case.
Yeah, let's just do an outro just in case.
Yeah. Before the outro, I'll do a little... Are you editing this? Here's a screen wipe for Charlie. All right, do an outro.
Burger King, McDonald's Grinch, fuck yeah. Love that guy.
It was fine.
That's the guy. Thanks for the collab, McDonald's. You did it again. You knocked it out of the park.
You're sounding more and more like Rick and Morty.
2 days no sleep. It's rough. It's
You
rough.
dip into Rick and Morty land.
Yeah. It's the Bikini Bottom Burger King blowout. We got the Burger King SpongeBob collab.
They made a box. We
They
thought
got-
they wouldn't.
They got the pineapple box. They got the Flying Dutchman brew.
We got the bag also with the Flying Dutchman. This is concerning to me right off the bat. You didn't drink any of
No.
this. It just was like that.
It's a slushie. So
They
there's one that's a slushie
they
and
left
one
room
that's a
for
float.
Jesus.
Yeah, they left a lot of room for Jesus. I didn't know he was that big.
So this definitely melted then.
So there's
Yes.
some that's like the one that Matt has is just the slushie, and then the one that you have is the float version. So it's a slushie with ice cream.
Yeah, 'cause
it
there's-
looks so good.
Oh, yours has cream.
Yes.
All right, should we drink these before they melt even more?
Yes, I would like that actually.
Here, here.
Ah, wonderful.
I'll mix it up so it's a slushy again. That actually
What
worked.
flavor do you think it is?
Green.
2 salads.
Green apple.
I think it's Diet Dr.
It's
Kelp.
kelp. Yeah, but it's
Oh.
kelp flavor.
Is that what it's supposed to be?
I would presume. One would presume.
Yeah, let me see what it says.
Frozen drink. It says frozen Fantapa.
Oh yeah, Fanta Tropical.
Oh, Fanta. I see.
It's very sweet.
Yes.
Here, would you like to try it sans ice cream?
Sure. I didn't taste the ice cream in mine yet, so
I guess I know what ice cream tastes like, and I know what that tastes like. So.
definitely tastes the same.
Yeah, it's
I'm getting the ice cream.
pineapple mango slush or the pineapple.
Oh, pineapple. That
Pineapple.
makes sense.
That
That's his
makes
home.
sense.
What did they call it?
The frozen Fanta pineapple,
Oh.
and then Pirates frozen pineapple float.
Oh,
I guess they.
so that one's not yours. Isn't as
tried-
special.
Yeah.
So you can try the ice cream on top there if you want. It's fine.
That's crazy how much Diet Dr. Kelp was such a layup.
Yeah,
I know.
That's what they would
That's
do.
what I was about to say. It's better with ice cream.
Yeah.
Shocking. Everything I know about this, you're going to with each item be like, why the fuck did they do that? Like,
I'm
why did
excited.
they not name the green drink Diet Dr. Kelp?
Yeah.
There were layups everywhere.
They could have given you a novelty drink hat and
Oh,
sip out of it. Yeah.
he was number one. Man, we do this every time with Burger King. We just make it better immediately.
Just hire us as consultants.
Other restaurants that do meals like that where they have a different drink, like it's not, it is like Dr. Kelp or whatever.
I don't know.
How much do
I
you
wonder if
think
there's some weird law around that.
That's a good question.
I wonder how much is like Viacom being like, no, you can't actually use that.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, that's ours. We don't want you to
Yeah,
have
we
it.
don't want you.
That'd be weird though to just give them nothing.
I would love to. I would love.
Because why do it at that
Yeah.
point?
All right, what is this?
These
That is Patrick
the-
Starberry shortcake. That's a weird word.
These are cinnamon rolls.
Oh, never mind.
Oh,
I think they messed up.
they're Gary shells.
There-
Ah.
It's just, yeah, it's part of the
Oh.
Krusty Krab craving bundle.
Do you want to save the dessert? I didn't even go straight. All right. I don't know what else is in here. There's 2 bags. Oh, all right.
So one of them,
What is this?
that, I believe, is one of Mr. Krabs' cheesy bacon tots.
This is so silly.
You don't remember the episode where Mr. Krabs loved cheesy bacon tots and he talks about it all the time?
Yo, SpongeBob, you're gonna have to cook up something new.
Arr.
Cheesy tater tots.
I can see a
first
correlation
cheesy tots.
between crabs and bacon, like money, making the bacon. Isn't that a thing? Something like that.
Bring home the bacon.
That's it though. That's like
It's
the
a
only
stretch,
line
but
I
I
can
see.
look at there.
Crab legs in there.
Oh, crab
Crab legs?
Such a layup.
This is a banger
It
item
is.
though.
It is really good.
It is a good item.
Wait. There's. Oh, that goes.
I think there's
Bacon-
another one
bacon
in there.
pop.
too.
There were 2, but one was simply an empty bag because Burger King has done it again.
No, that's the one. This is the other one. That just spilled in there.
Wait, so what are those?
It's also 4-piece jalapeno cheddar bites.
That's
Yeah.
what this is.
Oh,
That's just part of the Mr. Krabs bundle.
That's good.
That's a bacon
let
tot.
me get a bacon one if there's more left.
There's
I think
one left.
One in the box.
Nope, that's a jalapeno popper.
That's
On
alright.
that.
I'll live.
That's
you know.
good.
I'll have a jalapeno popper.
Those 2 items immediately much better than everything McDonald's did.
Some of the best that Burger King's ever done, to be honest.
That was extraordinary.
jalapeno popper.
Oh, that's
We've said this before. Anytime Burger King makes something in a fry or bigger shape, it's good.
Yeah, they fucking crushed this. I like that a lot.
Do you think they know they're bad at burgers and they just keep making them because it's in their name?
Yeah.
I feel like at
Like
some
it
point.
would just be king.
Yeah, we're this far. It's the sunk cost fallacy.
Man, those were good.
I'm
Fucking-
sad that you didn't get a bacon cheese.
Yeah.
That's all right. I'll go get one myself
Well, I
later.
have a half-eaten one in there, but my
Would you
hands
like
were
to
dirty.
tap?
No, that's all right. I'll be fine.
Still horrible tie into the show.
It doesn't
really
match-
good.
Doesn't match the theme, but great food items for sure.
Like, I would actually say they should have just made those and not put.
I
them
have
in
a
the
question.
SpongeBob. Yeah.
Have any of you watched current SpongeBob?
No.
Maybe Mr. Krabs took a weird bacon cheese twist
Maybe
that we
he
don't know
loves
about.
bacon cheese.
I started watching the most recent Sandy Cheeks movie,
I did not know.
and
that
I
was a
didn't
thing.
see Mr. Krabs mention anything about cheese nor bacon, but that movie did suck major ass.
what was the spoilers coming? What was the through plot like?
The premise.
I
yeah.
don't remember, but I recall it was half animation, half live action. It
Like
was,
where they put them on popsicle sticks and walk them above the
nope,
water.
it was like
Oh.
3D animation meets like Disney like That's So Raven type sitcom thing.
Oh.
I didn't
sounds
finish it.
weird.
Who played Sandy?
Well,
Are you saying
no,
like an actress?
no,
Oh,
like the
it was
like
still like more realism animation.
yeah, they had the same 3D animation that SpongeBob has become known for now, which is
Yep.
awful looking.
Terrible.
And then they had like a live action cast that was like the bad guys.
Oh.
Yeah.
I see.
Kinda, yeah.
Huh.
But really, it was
Huh.
terrible. I didn't finish
That
it.
sounds atrocious.
And not a single mention of bacon and cheese bites.
Not in the first 30 minutes.
What about Cine Minis?
I didn't hear anything about Cine Minis in that movie.
That's a weird consistency.
Yeah, I like that consistency of glaze.
What's that remind you of?
It reminds me of the sea, me boy. This is... What are these? Just cinnamon rolls?
Mm-hmm.
No,
There's a cinnamon roll.
not a cinnamon roll.
What's the name of those?
Mini Cinnies?
Cinnamon rolls.
Yeah, cinnamon?
Yeah, there's called City Minis.
There's no tie-in to SpongeBob.
No, it's just part of the Krusty Krab
That's
Crazy
fine.
bundle.
That's fine.
No, that's all right.
Sometimes you just need to put a dessert in there.
We've had City Minis for
But I thought maybe they'd be like, Gary's shell.
The
Like,
chum
there you go.
bucket, cinnamon macabooming.
Exactly.
Oh, I didn't know John Daly was here.
We got more.
Okay, I think this one is supposed to be SpongeBob and Patrick's F.U.N. meal.
Oh, okay, see, that's
all
much
right,
cooler.
all right.
Soft
I will
bacon.
say they're crushing McDonald's.
Yeah. These items are so much better.
I think one of those.
Sound.
I think one of those would be one of the bacon ones.
That's what we're eating. That's good.
Did it come with the pie?
Oh yeah, and then with the pie. We got Patrick Starr's berry shortcake pie. You remember
Starberry.
Starberry shortcake pie. Remember that episode? If only they had a whole episode based around them
pie.
having pie.
Yeah.
If only.
That would be crazy.
It'd be so convenient if they had that.
Yeah, they'll get there. And then
We got-
the most upsetting of them all.
Just a Whopper.
No, it's the Krabby Whopper.
It's the SpongeBob's Krabby Whopper.
Oh, I only
if
saw Whopper.
only in the show there had something to do with.
I wonder if there's some
burgers.
reason they can't call it a Krabby Patty.
I will say they did a yellow bun. They're encroaching on Wendy's territory.
They are.
Oh, wow.
It's a pretty patty.
Pretty patty.
Incredible.
Somebody eat it.
Nasty patty.
You gotta
He
do
killed the health
Squidward
inspector.
Get it with. Oh.
Dun, 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 dun.
Wait, Dan. Can you get a shot of when Charlie goes to bite it? Can you do like the...
Oh yeah, that's the Squidward.
A lot of lettuce.
Can you taste the yellow?
Can you taste the plankton?
I did a little sleight of hand there. Call back to the episode. There's pickles under my tongue.
Oh, nice.
Got the pickles.
Can I have a napkin? I made a mess.
Brr. One whole pickle was too much for me. It's good.
That is a Whopper.
It's a Whopper.
What is it? A good Whopper?
No, it's a Krabby Patty.
I don't like onions.
It's fine.
You like Krabby Patties, don't you, Charlie?
I do.
It's just a Whopper with a yellow bun.
Yeah, that's all. I mean,
It
at least.
doesn't have a
At
flavor.
least they tried a little bit.
Yeah.
They did. You know what? We gotta have positive reinforcement here.
It is an effort to do something new.
And I'll say, effort on their part is new.
Yes.
They've never tried before. They're trying.
You're right. You're right. That is Burger King with all neurons
Yeah.
activated.
Keep going in that direction, and they took our advice again and made more poppable food.
Yeah. Oh, there's one more in here if anyone wants it. No.
They really understand poppable food.
Yeah.
Their chicken fries and all the other popular.
The bacon cheese bites.
Jalapeno bites.
Yeah.
And then we have the real star of the show. No pun intended.
That was a good one.
I didn't mean to do that.
That was unlucky.
That was very unlucky. Let's see.
Strawberry.
You got this.
They've bested me again. How the fuck are you supposed to
Let's
open
see it.
this?
Let's see it.
Not eaten a pie before?
I have. It won't open.
On the side, you have to do both sides. Matt, come on.
The pies I buy only have one side.
What are you talking about?
One-sided pies. They're a hot commodity.
Oh, that looks good.
You got there.
Oh, it's pink on the bottom.
That looks yummy.
Have you guys heard the new Ice Spice SpongeBob song?
Yeah, big guy.
Big guy.
Big guy.
Big
Yep,
guy.
Big guy pants.
Big guy pants. Okay.
That's literally
Yeah.
the chorus.
Yep. Big guy pants okay.
What's happening?
SpongeBob Big Guy Pants.
What is happening?
Okay.
It's actually unbelievable.
In a good way?
No.
It's fucking terrible.
I have
Listen
to.
to it real quick.
Yeah, I cannot imagine what the executives were like. Yeah, let's run it. This is the song.
She's self-produced. What do you mean?
No, it is literally like what
Yes,
Aaron and I would do as a joke. Like if we were doing like a track together.
It sounds like she's reading the lyrics for the first time as she's performing.
Is this it?
I don't remember the intro. I need to.
That sounds like it. That sounds like it.
Really help, identify it.
Stop playing with your dog.
Stop playing with them, Big God. SpongeBob. It's okay. Big God.
Yeah.
It's so good.
And then
SpongeBob Big Guy
the
Pants.
verses, man.
I haven't heard
They're
them.
something
Oh
else.
yeah, they're pretty good.
They're honestly like, she's a lyrical genius.
Does she talk about shit? Again?
No, I was very disappointed. I looked for it.
That's her bread and butter.
I know. No diapers, no diarrhea, no Miss Poopy Pants. Nothing.
Oh, it's because it's Big Guy Pants now.
Yeah, it's big guy pants.
Yep.
Big guys don't poop their pants.
You guys are just upset you didn't think of it first.
We probably did. To be
She did that
fair.
from watching one of my videos.
We probably quoted that before. This is basically whipped cream.
Yeah, it's just. It is
To be
fundamentally
honest,
just what-
there's a little bit of pink stuff at the bottom, but I think the pink stuff is pink whipped cream. I'll do one more bite.
It's not the pink sauce? Pink sauce lady?
No.
I mean, it's
Is there
strawberry
strawberry
whipped
adjacent?
cream.
Oh.
Gosh. It's not bad, it's just useless.
Yeah, it's just a very. It's not really a pie.
Do you think they really couldn't even have made this into like a star shape?
Why would they? Genuinely, why? I would wonder. Genuinely wonder how many people saw this collab coming out and be like, "Oh my god, I have to go get a fucking SpongeBob Burger King meal ASAP." Like, there's probably such a small sliver of people that give a shit in the first place.
I bet you there are people that collect like every single
Yeah.
collab.
For sure.
that
I
I
think how
believe.
small that sample size has to be.
Yeah.
I would be so curious to see the numbers on how many of these they sell.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you collect Burger King merch, can you just send us a message?
Yeah.
I'd like to talk with you.
I'd also stop that.
I also wonder what it's like at the initial meeting where they're like, we got the SpongeBob collab, here's all our big ideas and everything we want to do, and then just how that every week how that changes.
The very top, they were like, "We're gonna do a Krabby Patty," and they were like, "No."
Also, what was the Wendy's one? That was like 3 months ago.
Yeah, and the Wendy's one, they did pretty patties,
They did-
right?
I think so,
Which
right?
is much
Yeah.
cooler. Hey, Zach. Yeah, they tried much harder than they normally do.
Yeah,
So
and I
props
think they
there.
did better than McDonald's.
They did. I feel you said this in the McDonald's one, which was either right before this in this video or a different video before this. They're getting so lazy. They're just
it's
going,
so crazy,
okay,
yeah.
the Grinch is on this. Go buy the Grinch meal. Like, he didn't do anything special. He's just
Well,
called
so here's the
Grinch.
thing. I can almost guarantee, obviously, the market is kids.
Mm-hmm.
The kids don't care. Like, they want the SpongeBob meal. Once they've got the SpongeBob meal, it doesn't really matter what the SpongeBob
Does that
meal
come with
is,
a
I
toy?
think.
No.
No toy for this.
No
This
toy.
is not a kids meal then. There wasn't a kids meal option. I didn't see it.
Oh.
That's a big Whopper
This is-
for a kid.
I guess it is.
That would kill a
it's
kid.
for big guy.
For
a big guy.
soap solution to blow bubbles?
Oh, my God.
That's a layup, guys.
It's disheartening. The only one who consistently puts crazy effort in is actually Wendy's.
Yeah, more or less.
I feel like everything they've done, they give you 3 changed items that they try on.
I will say, yeah, they changed their items, but I'd also say in the same way that Burger King did. It's not like they change it that drastically.
That's a really good point. Burger King did exactly what Wendy's did. I
Bur-
take it back.
Burger King did basically that, just only with one color.
I feel like this
Forceful.
was a good amount of effort.
Yeah.
They just missed, like, or just have never seen the show.
I'm gonna try something new. I'm gonna be constructive.
The food was good. Like the fucking chicken bacon busters and the
I liked those.
Yeah, the jalapeno poppers. Those were good. And
They.
the Whopper, if you like that, I mean that's good for you. I guess.
I'm realizing something. I explained that they're good at poppers and fry shape.
Yeah.
They're good at frying things.
Yeah.
When you give them something to put in a deep fryer, it's yummy.
Yeah, they can fry that shit up.
They should have fried this pie.
They should have. Yep.
Patrick Starr's fried pie.
Except for their chicken sandwiches. Was that the one that you could open like a
That
book?
one sucks.
Oh, yeah, that was
Yeah.
bad.
That one
was
sucks.
bad.
All right, I go back to it's got to be handheld shape.
Yeah, that was bad. Yeah.
All right, I would give this better than normal.
Yeah, this as far as Burger King options go, you get a lot of decent tasting stuff.
And the tummy ache.
Well, I don't have that yet, but it was good. I just wish if you're gonna do a collab, at least make it exciting. That's all. That's all I'm asking.
The most defeated way possible.
Well, I mean, like I've seen companies out there doing really cool collabs, like that Cheeky Soap Company.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
they do some good stuff.
I think they did what, like Solo Leveling and Chainsaw Man, and
Yeah.
man, they hit it out of the park.
The new movie just came out.
The Cheeky Soap movie?
The Chainsaw Man movie.
Oh, the Chainsaw Man movie, not the Cheeky
to
Soap
celebrate
movie.
the Cheeky Soap collab, they released a whole movie.
Yeah, that was crazy. Boy, did they have to work fast on that one. Yeah.
All right.
Thanks, Burger King.
Thanks, but we should do a Burger King soap collab.
Oh man, that'd be so cool.
This
the
soap
Whopper.
tastes like shit.
No, except Burger King is giving other people the soap. Like it's reverse of what you would think. Like you guys aren't doing Burger King soap. Burger King is doing cheeky collab.
We should approach SpongeBob. Now I'm just riffing. Sorry. We should approach SpongeBob about doing a SpongeBob Burger King meal soap.
So here's the thing. I think SpongeBob has been licensed out to so many people. It's not exciting at all.
I agree. Everybody's doing it.
Yeah, I literally just don't think it's exciting.
I think to Aaron's point, Wendy's. I mean, I think it was a year ago.
No,
I was legitimately not a year ago.
it was.
Well, we
actually
did that
a
one at
handful
the
of us.
warehouse.
No, we never did it.
No, I think you guys. I remember you guys discussing if you wanted to do it here or at the
That's
warehouse.
right.
Oh,
And we never did it.
shit.
Huh.
Missed opportunity. Yeah, it's being with two major fast food chains that quickly is just insane.
I once watched a man die, and as the light was slowly fading from his eyes, he grabbed my hand and he said to me, "Peter?" I replied, "Yes, Ben." He said, "What is it all for? All these streaming services, this plague." And then he shed the mortal coil. And to this day, that question still echoes in my head, because I don't know. Why are we surrounded by so many dog shit streaming services? When will it end? It's entirely unnecessary. All that being said, one of them that I've made fun of quite a bit in the past has just done something to impress me. Tubi, which used to be a joke, at least to me. I used to view that platform as a big hoot and a holler gag. Kind of like it didn't even register to me as like a legitimate service, just more so like a pathetic whimper of a platform. But I just familiarized myself with their catalog, and I genuinely have to give them props for what they're doing over there. Yeah, I saw the Tubi news. I've been clowning on Tubi for a little while. Like, I'm not the most familiar with it, but when we were going through, like, the streaming services rabbit hole where everything is a streaming service and half of them you haven't even heard of, just like the wackiest ones that are just actual glup shitto tier names. Tubi was one of them that we kind of clowned on. But then I saw their catalog here. They're adding some of the all-time great cartoons to their catalog. So much so that I think this is just like an actual game changer in the streaming landscape. Just look at this list of some of the shit they've added. Codename Kids Next Door, Courage the Cowardly Dog, Batman Brave and the Bold, Ben 10, Dexter's Lab, Ed, Edd and Eddy, Foster's Home, Justice League, Pinky and the Brain, Powerpuff Girls, Teen Titans, Batman. And it's an incredibly stacked catalog now that they have. So I'm becoming somewhat of a Tubi fan. That is incredible news. No subscriptions and all ad-free, which is something I didn't know, in my defense, when we clowned on it a while ago. I did not know that. No one told me that. That was a lie, by the way. Just a full-blown fib from chat. It's not entirely ad-free, apparently. I don't know what that guy was smoking. Maybe that was a Tubi representative trying to get people hype and sell everyone on Tubi and just made that up. But it is not ad-free. It's still a free service, like you can still watch things, but there are ads. That's how they make money. Didn't Tubi make shit ads a while back? You're thinking of Quibi. That was the one where they, like, paid millions and millions of dollars in marketing and millions of dollars on these like absolute dog shit movies that are like 40 minutes long that were terrible. That was Quibi. Or nope, that's not the name of it. What the hell was it called? Oh no, it was Quibi. I did get it right. You're thinking of this. No, Tubi actually used to blow. It's just gotten better. Okay, then maybe it was truly the perfect time to clown on it, and now they're good. Unironically ahead of its time, now all people do is watch movies and shows on TikTok. You're talking about Quibi? You're not wrong. The way that people consume content has drastically changed. So actually, they were ahead of their time. People literally watch House exclusively through YouTube Shorts, for example. Tubi still has a ton of extremely fun bad movies like Tales of the Detroit Pig Lady. Tales of the Detroit Pig Lady? That's a Tubi original? Like, what is this? One of Nolan's earlier works? What the hell is Detroit Pig Lady? This looks interesting. Oh, it just started playing. Hold on. The whole thing just immediately started playing. That's so hype. What an easy service to use. The Detroit legend of an old woman who lived on the block. They say she resembles a pig and will appear if you say her name 3 times in a dark room. So it's Bloody Mary, but for the Detroit Pig Lady. The Blood of La Llorona. Wait, maybe I need to watch some of this Tubi trash. Wait, these might go kind of hard. The Walk of Rufus II, Theotis. The Priest Thanksgiving Massacre. Die 2-4. What does that mean? Die 2-4? I can't even process what that could mean. Oh, it's to die 4. Oh my god, the formatting on that is worse than the don't open dead inside one. Don't dead open inside. It's under the picture. Oh, I didn't even look. I was just looking at these. I was too drawn in for the actual the text at the bottom. Horror anthology of short horror films from cult underground indie horror filmmakers from across the globe that will make your heart race. Bombshell Butcher. Creepy Tales of Pizza and Gore. Bro, I'm gonna have to watch some of this Tubi shit. It sounds awesome. There's a Popeye horror movie called Popeye the Slayer. You aren't ready for the meals Tubi is prepared to serve you up. No, I don't think so. I can handle their strongest potions. I have seen so much shit, there is nothing on Tubi that's going to be worse than some of the things I've already seen. Bro, these movies literally have like $20 budgets. I mean, that's cool. Hey, even if the 99% of this is trash, it's cool that they at least give them a platform to slap it on. Whatever. I can't even be mad at that. And the fact that they now have some of the best... it's not even up for debate. The fact that they have the best catalog when it comes to animation now. Well, we'll say cartoons. I'm a Tubi fan. It feels like a piracy streaming site layout. A little bit, huh? So how does Tubi make money if it's completely ad-free and no subscription? What's their monetization model? Is this some kind of like honey level shadiness? Like, what do they do? It does have ads. Oh, okay. Why does chat keep fucking lying then? Okay, so they do have ads. What happened to the League of Legends arc? Oh man, I'll spoil this a little bit, I suppose. I made a joke a while ago, like after we won the Demacia Cup, about doing like a full documentary, and we have gone hog wild on that documentary. So we got a huge documentary coming up about our Demacia Cup win as we prep for our next clash for the Noxus Cup. So we went hard on the documentary following We Found the G-Spot. So I'm still deep in that League of Legends arc. Holy shit, put it on Tubi. We should do that. It is very high quality. I think people will be very excited. We got the Shopify Rebellion editing squad on it. Well, I don't want to spoil too much because we also have a really, really big surprise with it that kind of blew the scale of it way over our expectations. We might have got a little too big with it. Will Chinese Charles also do a documentary? We'll see. Oh man, the Chinese translation on Bilibili for our League documentary is going to go nuts. They're going to be so excited on Bilibili to follow the journey of We Found the G-Spot. WFTGS Gaming, holy. I've recently been getting big into the UFC again. I'd always watched the big fights, and when I was in high school, I watched a lot more of it, especially GSP and Machida bouts. Lyoto Machida is my favorite fighter ever, but post-high school, I stopped watching as much and only tuned in to the big fights, and that's the way it's been for like the last 12, 15 years maybe, until recently. I've been getting more and more into the UFC, and as such, I've started hating Dana White more and more. I feel like as you pay more attention to this sport, you unfortunately have to pay more attention to this fucking fungus. Now, the obvious that everyone talks about is how he refuses to pay his fighters appropriate wages. And I'm not even here to really dive into this can of worms here. I'll briefly mention it, though, that it is sickening how underpaid the athletes are in the UFC. The only ones making, like, real money are, like, the actual superstars. But, like, their starter contracts of the 12-12, 12 the show, 12 if you win, that should be criminal. Dana White should be in handcuffs right now for that kind of shit. It's fucking disgusting how underpaid UFC athletes are if they're not champions. And it's something Sean O'Malley mentioned as well, though Sean O'Malley seems perfectly content being financially cucked by Dana White because he often defends it. But Sean O'Malley was talking about the money he made as a champion being significantly different from the money he makes not being a champion, which I think most people would expect, but the difference is absurd. I think a lot of you have probably heard that UFC fighters, when they're starting out, have to still have a part-time job elsewhere. They can't do the UFC full-time. It's not until you are literally like a top 5 cream of the crop level athlete in the UFC that you can actually make livable money there, it seems. And the bonuses that they introduced are kind of just a band-aid for the problem of Dana White being too cheap to actually pay his athletes. And I also just saw reports this week that they are now no longer accommodating team travel. They're only compensating for the head coach. Another classy maneuver here from Dana Worm White, who just has to find all kinds of grubby penny-pinching schemes because we have to remember, the UFC is just a tiny little indie promotion that's merged with the fucking WWE, and the UFC only generated $1.5 billion in 2025. That's not nearly enough to satiate Dana White's gluttony. I know I said I wasn't going to fully open this can of worms, and I still haven't. This is the tip of the iceberg when it comes to UFC wages and how they just don't want to pay their fighters at all. Now, I'll go ahead and move on to some other Dana White dunk topics in recent memory here because he just keeps making a fucking fool of himself and I have to clown on him for it. But before that, I want to make a mention that I also despise the UFC-WWE merger. I am just counting down the days until Dana White falls into his K-hole and then really gets convinced that he should be more involved with the WWE, so he tries to start shoving his meat over there and strong-arming some of his ideas in place. Like, listen guys, let me pitch you on something. What about Stone Cold Steve Austin versus The Undertaker in a slippery dickory match? First one to hold the other's cock for a 3-count wins. Thoughts? Because I can just see him doing some dumb shit like that. He is just a factory of zero IQ ideas and even worse execution. Anyway, though, I want to show you a clip that I just saw this morning. This is from an interview that I think is 2 months old, and I think it really showcases just how evil of a man Dana White is. Now, A little context before this clip plays. I don't think Dana White has any respect at all for his wife. A while ago, I made a video covering an incident where Dana White and his wife got into a bit of a slapping match at a New Year's Eve party in public. She had slapped Dana White, and then he responded by slapping her multiple times in public, in full view of everything. When I covered that, people were very upset with me for talking about it, and then even outright denying that it was real, that this didn't happen, this is a fucking lie. And then Dana White himself had to do like the world's smallest violin press tour about it, like, listen, don't defend me, this was bad. And I'm not trying to just regurgitate all the talking points from back then, but in the clip you can see he's already grabbing his wife when she slaps him, and then he slaps her multiple times and pushes her away. And it's not like he was in any danger here. Let's not pretend that he had just been attacked by fucking Brock Lesnar. This has been yapped about till the cows come home already. I know that. As everyone's already said numerous times, it's bad on all fronts. The slap from his wife is no good, and then the retaliation from him to slap her multiple times also very not good. The reason why I'm bringing this up again is because after what we've seen him do publicly, like in that instance, and now what he's also now just said publicly about what he made his wife do in regards to the birth of his child to compensate his schedule, it just really feels like the most loveless, miserable marriage imaginable. It just seems fucking terrible.
My son Aiden, when she was pregnant with him, the due date was the Chuck Liddell fight.
Oh, Lord.
And I said to the doctor, this ain't going to work. This doesn't work for me.
Man, I don't know where this medical field medicine is at, but
so we scheduled a C-section to take him early.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So was she gonna go natural?
No.
Okay, but there was a C-section. You're like, no, we got to back this up. Like,
Yeah, was she gonna go natural? What? Like go in when the baby?
Yeah.
When the baby's due, you.
Right.
Hey, the baby's due. Let's go.
But y'all did a
that was supposed to
scheduled
be
C-
Saturday on the fucking Chuck Liddell fight. That was the date that they pinpointed. And
right,
I'm
you're like, nah, this ain't gonna happen, Jack.
It's not gonna work for
like,
me.
no, we're gonna be walking out in Vegas. Something got to change. But if you change, okay, no, something. But
digital detox.
He goes on to say digital detox does not exist for him. This story is just vile. Like, I don't know how anyone could hear this and walk away with a positive impression of that. He jeopardized the safety and the health of not just his wife, but also his fucking baby, so that way he could go to the Chuck Liddell fight. So he had his wife undergo a C-section early in order to compensate for his schedule so he could still make that fight. That's deplorable. And they're talking about it, like joking about it, jovial, like it's not something super serious. That's a huge deal. You're going to C-section your baby early solely so you can go to that fight. Again, that puts his wife in danger. That puts his baby in danger. That's crazy to me that anyone's looking at this as anything other than just downright evil. This is so scummy. And he's proudly talking about it like, yeah, I don't slow down. I just don't slow down. My wife knows this. I'll be going all night. She knew this getting into it. In fact, with the birth of our baby here, I even made her get a C-section early. Ha ha ha. So that way I can see that Chuck Liddell fight, That's, what the fuck, man? That's crazy. Ordinarily, to a sane person, the birth of your child is going to be one of the most important, most memorable, most meaningful moments of your life. But to Dana White, that's just an obstacle, because now it's potentially infringing on his ability to go watch the Chuck Liddell fight. That's how much he cares about his promotion. He needs to make sure, the birth of his child is fucking, that's peanuts. That's nothing. That's scraps. Spits on that. We're going to speed that one up. Let's get through that real quickly so that way you can go to the real thing that matters, the Chuck Liddell fight. Like, even the most diehard of UFC fans should hear this and be like, wow, that's extremely concerning. That's just genuinely fucked up. And I have seen some cope with people saying he's probably just exaggerating or kidding around. I watched most of that podcast there. He doesn't go back and say like, oh, that story I told about making my wife have a C-section to deliver our baby early for the sake of the Chuck Liddell fight so I could still participate. Oh yeah, I made that up. I pulled that out of my ass. That was just supposed to be a good goof, ha 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 moment, you know what I mean? So as far as I'm aware, this is a very real thing that happened. Something that he is very proud of, which I think is just sick. I think that is extremely twisted. And I also think it showcases his perspective on the UFC, where I believe Dana White is under the impression that people watch the UFC for him. Like, I think he believes that he is the UFC, not the fighters. And that's, I think, also demonstrated in how he pays them, or really doesn't pay them. So him making it of like paramount importance that he is there for the Chuck Liddell fight because that's what matters, is that Dana White is there for it. So he's willing to make the sacrifice of his wife's safety, the safety of the baby, jeopardizing both of their health for the sole sake of ensuring that he can still be there because that is what people care about. I think it's just super fucked up. I truly do. And I would also imagine that most people that watch the UFC probably have the same viewpoint I do on it, which is the fighters are the ones that make the UFC, not the other way around. I think if the UFC didn't have the talent that it does with the fighters that it has, it would not be in the same state that it is. Fighters are the ones that made the UFC successful.
So I've seen a lot of fans and viewers online commenting or discussing what they perceive as a lot of AI-generated content in the broadcast that maybe wasn't in previous iterations of the UFC. Is this something that's coming with the Paramount deal or just a new direction for the UFC, or do you have any insight on that?
What does that mean?
AI stuff, commercials, part of the promotional content, just AI in the UFC in general. I've seen fans complaining about.
Oh, yeah? What are they complaining about?
I guess I've seen people saying that the UFC should be paying artists instead of using generative AI, stuff like that.
Give me a fucking break. AI is coming, and if we're using AI, who gives a shit? People are upset about it. We should use artists. How about this? Shut the fuck up and watch the fights.
The most unsurprising statement ever uttered from a human being here. Dana White doesn't even pay the fighters. You think he cares about paying artists? Absolutely not. This fucking goober, this goddamn zombie would 1000% be using AI fighters if he could to save even more money on it. So it's not at all a shock to see him with this perspective about like, who cares if we're not paying artists? Who cares if we're using AI? Just shut up and consume our slop. Just watch our AI and put your thumb in your mouth and be done with it. Naturally, that's what Dana White is going to say about it. And expect a lot more AI from Dana White as he starts to recognize more and more how much money he can save by just farting out AI-generated shit into the UFC programming. So don't expect that to stop anytime soon. He'll continue to go hog wild with the AI, which doesn't elevate the production or anything. It doesn't make it better. It does make it worse, but it saves Dana White money. And that's the most important thing to Dana White. There's so much more. There's just plenty I could keep poking around about when it comes to this fucking scumbag, but I've already been going here for a while yapping about it, so I'll go ahead and stop here. I do not like Dana White, but I really, really like the fighters in the UFC. It's such a fucking shame. Hopefully the day will come where they're actually paid appropriately for their talent and their hard work, but with Dana White still at the helm, I wouldn't hold my breath on it. It fucking sucks. He fucking sucks. Anyway, that's really about it. So yeah, the nightmare finally ended. One Punch Man Season 3 just concluded, and it actually went out on a decent note. The final episode of Season 3 was one of the better ones of the season, which isn't saying a lot. That's like saying your most recent fart was the least stinky. Not to say that it was like an all-around bad episode or something, but it was such a horrible season that even like a decent moment just feels very sad still. Unfortunately, this season was a wash like 6 episodes ago. It was just dead, and there was nothing they could do to save it. They couldn't get the defibrillator out and shock it back to life or anything with a great episode. Not that a great episode ever came, but with the Saitama versus Orochi fight and Flashy Flash fight, those two were definitely the best moments of Season 3, and they do show that the animation team here does have the capability of delivering quality at least the same level as Season 2, but due to whatever unfathomable degeneracy and greed was happening behind the scenes with Bandai, where they refused to give the team any real time or money to flesh it out and deliver something of high quality, we were left with this fucking hemorrhoid of a season. And they're threatening to release a part 2. So there's an official announcement, as far as I can tell, an official announcement. Maybe this is all like a big out-of-season April Fool's joke, who's really to say at this point, where they're announcing a Season 3 Part 2. Now, it's slated to come out in 2027, which means that should be 2 years of being able to cook this season, which is significantly longer than reportedly the team had to work on Season 3 Part 1. From everything I've read, even though it took 6 years between 2 and 3, the actual animation didn't really have all that long to bake. So that gives me a small glimmer of hope that maybe part 2 will be a significant improvement and get back to what JC staff was able to deliver with season 2 at least. That being said, the official poster that was posted for it is literally the exact same one that they made for season 3 part 1 2 years ago. They just flipped the PNGs around. If you could have seen my face when I saw that poster, I was sporting the biggest frown you've ever seen. Not even the Grinch could find a way to look that miserable when I saw that. Because that's... You can't really come up with a good excuse there other than they didn't feel like making a new poster. They wanted to do the bare minimum. You can't even blame that on, like, budget or, like, a time constraints or something to just reuse the same image from over 2 years ago and just flip the characters around. That's... Jiminy Christmas. Holy Toledo. That's rough. Heavens to Betsy. That is already putting part 2 in a pretty sour spot that they couldn't even be bothered to make like a new poster for it. But again, with 2 years here, 2 years of playtime, hopefully it can be an improvement from what we just experienced here with part 1. Season 3 was an atrocity. It was an affront to God when it comes to animation, but not just animation, because everything was so rushed and so crunched. Everything suffered, even outside of animation, so like the pacing didn't work. There were tons of editing mistakes out the wazoo. Characters would sometimes just grow titties, or sometimes like lose or gain fingers. Like all kinds of like crazy wacky shit was going on. And then like the humor would fall flat because it was edited so poorly and cut from like the joke away from the punchline, then back to the punchline. It was just a complete disaster. So while the animation did look like a PowerPoint and it's the main thing people criticize and spit on, it had even more problems than just that. The whole season was pretty embarrassing to what the source material had provided. Again, I don't want to just keep, barking up this tree, but I cannot express enough just how good the One Punch Man series is. The manga is extraordinary. And to see an adaptation like this that is clearly rushed and half-baked, it just sucks. And it's why it's become such like a big talking point for a lot of people, because people cherish season 1, and even though season 2 wasn't as good as season 1, in hindsight, we didn't know how good we had it then, I guess, because this has just been terrible. Absolutely terrible. And even if you don't know anything about One Punch Man, just watching season 3 is not enjoyable. There's not a whole lot to like about it. And again, I want to strongly reiterate this for the millionth time. I don't put the blame solely on the shoulders of JC's staff for this catastrophe of the season. I think with the couple of decent moments shown here, it proves that there are passionate, talented animators working at that studio. I think the problem comes from a higher level. The fucking husks, the soulless corporate zombies in suits at Bandai that are so against putting any amount of actual money and elbow grease into this property, and reportedly only giving them like 6 months worth of production to shit out season 3 here. It seems like they are committed to delivering the cheapest, laziest, and most bare bones anime adaptation just to cash in on the goodwill of the One Punch Man name. I don't understand why, and I honestly feel like even though the release date is 2027 for part 2, I wouldn't be surprised to learn that they don't start production until like January 2027 and it comes out in like October of 2027. It really wouldn't even have me raise an eyebrow. That seems to be Bandai's MO right now. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if they fucking put a padlock on the JC Studios office doors, preventing them from even thinking about working on One Punch Man Season 3 Part 2 until they permit them to do so 6 months before it's supposed to air. They just seem fully committed to delivering trash with the One Punch Man name. Bandai is. It's just extremely disappointing because it doesn't have to be this way. It's pretty inexcusable from Bandai's side. And admittedly, I am shocked they're even going for another rodeo here. I thought for sure, based on the reception to Season 3 and how it's become a historically trash season in anime history, I thought they would 100% just wash their hands of One Punch Man, be like, alright, well that didn't work. Seems there's no pleasing any of you. You didn't like Season 3? We spent all of $46 on it. Well, that's the best we can do. Ungrateful. Sorry, no more One Punch Man anime, I guess. Go fucking, drink toilet water for all we care. I thought they were just going to be done. I thought there was no chance. I thought they'd just bury their head in their ass, call it quits quietly, no more One Punch Man. But they immediately, after airing the final episode, have a part 2 ready to announce. I can sniff the fumes in the air that this was probably always the plan to try and milk it a bit, but I don't think they expected how poorly the first part would be received before they, really, lat spread and lock themselves into this path here. But who knows, maybe Christmas miracles do happen. This is going to sound like fanfic and a lot of dangerous levels of hopium, but maybe Bandai learned their lesson here with part 1, where they realized that they can't just, plop out any amount of garbage and people will swallow it with a smile on their face and endlessly support it and spend money or whatever. Maybe now they'll get the message and learn that they need to actually put real time and resources into developing something meaningful. Anime is bigger than it has ever been, which means there's far less leniency from the audience to just stomach trash to this degree here, where it's almost insulting to the human eye. There are just so many other things, they'll just go watch something else. It's not like Pokemon fans, where no matter how shitty the Pokemon game is that comes out, they'll still just play it, swallow the shit with a smile on their face. Here, people are a lot less receptive to that. They'll just go watch something else and drop this because it's just not very good. It's just a stupid decision across the board, even from a business perspective of trying to save a couple of doubloons on the bottom line by giving them no time and money to make your anime. You just stand to lose more than you could ever possibly gain there. It's just silly. Especially for something like One Punch Man, where there is only 3 seasons in the last 10 years. They haven't built up the brainwashing like Pokemon has, and I know I've already made this point before, but I think it's an apt comparison, where people will just watch it no matter what. With One Punch Man, a ton of people dropped it because it was shitty. The only people that stuck with it are masochists and fans that just couldn't look away from the train wreck. They had to watch how their boy was being massacred here with season 3 of a beloved IP. I'm in that group. It was a stupid decision, and hopefully this message has made it loud and clear into the minds of the Bandai executives that made the initial call to spend no money and give no time to JC staff. Hopefully with part 2, that has really sunk in, and they are going to actually put more money and give JC staff more time so they can hopefully get back to what they were doing with season 3's. Oh god, good lord. That was like poison coming out of my lips. With season 2's level of quality. Hopefully we never see anything like season 3 ever again. Holy shit. Anyway, I'll stop yapping about it. The season 3 part 1 is over. Hallelujah. That's great news. That's about it. So yeah. I know I've already covered a case similar to this, but this one's even more egregious. A 50-year-old grandmother spent 6 months in the slammer doing hard time because AI tools flagged her as a suspect in a bank fraud case. But it turns out the only fraud here was Jarvis going rogue and for some reason targeting Angela Lips. She spent 6 months behind bars for this. Police in North Dakota, using AI facial recognition technology that they must have found on fucking Temu, flagged her as a suspect in a bank fraud case in North Dakota. Now, Angela Lips is a mother of 3, grandmother of 5, and has lived her entire life in north central Tennessee, roughly 1,000 miles away from where the crime she was accused of committing took place. And yet still, U.S. Marshals showed up at her doorstep last July while babysitting 4 kids and arrested her at gunpoint. The lore goes as follows. There was a woman in North Dakota that was using a fake U.S. Army ID to withdraw tens of thousands of dollars, and then Fargo police were investigating. They ran the surveillance footage through facial recognition software, and it returned a match to Angela Lips. And then, hallelujah, Flesh and Blood came in, but unfortunately he was missing a brain. A detective compared Angela Lips, that was flagged by the facial recognition software, to her Tennessee driver's license and social media images, and concluded she was the perpetrator based on facial features, body type, and hair. Nobody from the department contacted Lips before U.S. Marshals arrested her at gunpoint on July 14th while babysitting those 4 kids. I already know exactly how that detective's thorough analysis went. Because we'd actually already seen this before in the last case I covered of AI incorrectly identifying a suspect and leading to an innocent person being arrested. In that last incident, what happened is the authorities were comparing, AI had flagged somebody, and they were comparing driver's license to the picture, and he just basically said, well, alright, if AI says so. There is this blind trust in AI from authorities like this to just do their job for them. So I feel pretty confident that this detective most likely just did the exact same thing, like, alright, AI said it, and AI's never wrong. She's definitely guilty. Let's, sick the Pinkertons on her. Let's get the U.S. Marshals. We'll rappel down. We'll blast through the windows. Maybe let's tear gas that bitch. Let's go hog wild. We already know she's guilty. AI's flagged her. I imagine that's exactly how that went. It is incomprehensible that they acted solely off of AI saying that this is probably that person in the video. They didn't contact her, they didn't question her, they did no actual investigation of this woman before swooping in with the U.S. Marshals holding her at gunpoint in front of the children that she was babysitting. And then it only gets worse from there, because she sat in jail for 108 agonizing days before North Dakota officers collected her, and her attorney, Jay Greenwood, immediately requested her bank records, and Fargo police finally met with Greenwood and Angela on December 19th, 5 months after her arrest, and records showed that she was buying cigarettes and depositing Social Security checks in Tennessee at the time police placed her in Fargo. So she literally could not be the suspect guilty of bank fraud in North Dakota. And they didn't bother to do any investigation or anything at all, clearly, and she had to sit there and stew, marinating in jail for 108 days for doing nothing wrong, literally doing nothing wrong and having no idea why she was there or what the fuck had even, connected her to this crime. The case was eventually dismissed on Christmas Eve, but the damage had already been done. She had no money, no coat, no way home, and subsequently lost her house, her car, and her dog. This fucking ruined her life, and she did nothing wrong. This just goes to show you nobody is safe. Literally, no one is safe. You right now watching this, you at any moment can get flagged by AI systems as a huge criminal, and it seems like police won't even bother to investigate. They'll just take AI's word and come swoop you up at gunpoint, and then you'll sit in jail for 6 months before they'll finally even entertain the idea of an investigation from the sound of things. This is just total clown shit. This is terrifying. You can do nothing wrong and still just end up in jail, confused, cock in hand, wondering what the fuck is happening. And they won't even investigate. They just listen to AI as if it's God. They worship it. It's shocking to me. It's scary. She lost her house, her car, and her dog. And they're doing nothing to compensate her for this or anything. And when they did finally dismiss the case, it sounds like they just kicked her to the curb, literally dumped her outside, potato sacked her, threw her out like a, fucking bowl of dirty tomatoes, and just said, good luck, find your own way home. Just kidding, I know you lost it. It's wild just how out of control this is. And this is not an isolated incident. As I've said, I've already covered a case similar to this, but not quite to this extreme. The other person who was found guilty by AI, even though they had done nothing wrong, they were not guilty. AI false flagged them. That person was pretty quickly exonerated. This took 6 months and actually ruined her life. She lost, everything as a result of it. Just listen to this. She was booked in Tennessee County Jail as a fugitive from justice from North Dakota. So because she was considered a fugitive, she was held without bail and sat in jail for nearly 4 initial months. And then she got a court-appointed lawyer for the extradition process and was told she'd have to travel to North Dakota to fight it. She even stated, I've never been to North Dakota. I don't know anyone from North Dakota. So even though she's 1,000 miles away, the conclusion that they drew from that isn't that maybe AI flagged the wrong suspect here. Maybe this isn't actually a person of interest. Maybe we should follow up with this and see if this is actually a guilty person or someone associated with this in any way. Instead of anything logical or sane, they instead said, oh, she must be a fugitive. So go in guns blazing and throw her in county. And since she's a fugitive, that's no bail and we don't have to do anything else. She can just sit there and rot for 4 months. That's horrifying. So again, you sitting right there, maybe you've done nothing wrong your entire life, but you are not safe from this. At any moment, it seems like AI could just false flag you as a suspect anywhere across the country here. So let's say a criminal goes out there and does some nefarious activities in Rhode Island, and maybe you did a facial scan to verify your age on Discord a month ago. They have access to that data. Maybe AI thinks that you look vaguely familiar to that criminal all the way in Rhode Island. Well, if AI finds you a suspect, they think you look pretty suspicious. Seems like a lot of these police officers won't second guess it at all, so they might just swoop in and grab your ass, throw you in county, hit you with the, hey, you're a fucking fugitive. You got no rights here, so you're going to sit here and rot for a little while till they can get down here and collect you. Might take a few months, so good luck. Realistically, though, the police would never even say good luck in a case like this. They'd tell you to go fuck yourself, like what they did to Angela Lips. Lips says that the police didn't even offer to pay for her trip home. This is after she was found to be innocent of these crimes in which she spent fucking 108 days in jail for. They didn't offer to pay for her trip home, and with no money to her name, she was stranded in Fargo. Again, this is 1,200 miles away from where she actually lives. Sympathetic local defense attorneys pooled together money to pay for a hotel room, and a local nonprofit called the F5 Project arranged her trip back to Tennessee. I had my summer clothes on, no coat, it was so cold outside, snow on the ground, scared, I wanted out, but I didn't know what I was going to do, how I was going to get home. She says that she lost her home, her car, and her dog as a result of her stint in jail, and no one from Fargo Police Department has apologized for the disastrous mix-up, she said. Yeah, that apology's never coming. Right now they're doing this behind the desk about the whole thing. They kicked this woman out into freezing cold temperatures, snow on the ground while wearing her summer clothes after they collected her from Tennessee many months after they wrongfully imprisoned her for a crime she didn't commit and literally couldn't even be a suspect in, all because of AI and them not wanting to do their jobs. So they get her all the way here in a place she is completely unfamiliar with, no money, no appropriate clothing, and they just push her out there and do nothing. No apology, no compensation, and it's entirely because of the good nature of some like actual generous people pooling money together to get her safely accommodated and then safely back to Tennessee, that she was even able to get home. Well, she lost her home, get back to where she's from. The Fargo police seem like heartless demons here. The fucking crew of Davy Jones in the second Pirates of the Caribbean movie was more nice than the Fargo Police Department here, it seems. This is so out of control. They couldn't even utter like a single like apology or acknowledgement of like man, this is rough. Jeez, tough, man. Sorry about that. Nothing at all. And an apology should be the least of it. I mean this sincerely. Everyone involved in this case should lose their jobs as a result of it. I think that's only fair. They are bad at their jobs. The Goof Troop did no investigation at all, wrongfully imprisoned an innocent woman, and did nothing at all to even try and investigate to see if they got the suspect. So they also let the criminal keep getting away with it too, by the way. So like they're just dog shit at their jobs. Like these fucking worms shouldn't have that position anymore. I think that makes sense. 1,000%. And it makes you question if there's more people wrongfully imprisoned over there in North Dakota as a result of these police officers here that for some reason just let AI police North Dakota for them and do nothing at all on their own to try and enforce justice and actually catch the bad guys. So why the fuck do these police officers still have their job when they're not even doing it? It's AI doing it, and it's doing it poorly. Like, again, they are shitty at it. They shouldn't have that position anymore. This is not how justice is conducted, with just blindly sucking the cock of AI when it tells you that this is the suspect over 1,000 miles away and you don't question it at all. And then you arrest an innocent woman. This should be a much bigger deal. This should be a much more alarming case everyone should be talking about, because this is a woman who's not even in the same fucking state that has now just spent 6 months in jail over doing nothing. She did nothing wrong. I had no idea what was going on or why. And then ended up getting kicked out of the police department in a state she's not from, with no appropriate clothing for the weather, no money, no transportation, no means of getting home or anything at all, and not a single attempt from the police to try and rectify this, not a single apology from them, no compensation or anything, even though it is solely their fault, entirely their own fault. And they're not even responsible to get her, like, home. They can't even do, like, the bare minimum of getting her back home over 1,000 miles away from where they've just kicked her out. Over their own embarrassing fuck-up, mind you. Like, this is just completely unacceptable. It's like, she should be getting oodles of cash from these fucking idiots who have had a deep negative impact on her life. She lost so much from this, and they're not doing anything? How is that okay? They need to be punished. She should be compensated in a big way. This actually infuriated me learning about this story. And again, like I said, this isn't the only time it's happened, but this is by far the most extreme example of it happening. But yeah, this shit really grinded my gears, so I really wanted to talk about it. That's about it. So yep. I love aliens. I love UFOs. You know I keep my finger on the pulse of anything related to extraterrestrial activity. I've even set up my own homemade tuning fork so that way I'll know if there's any big three-titted alien babes that are cruising through. The thing is, I wasn't even going to bother talking about this latest batch of UFO files because they are just completely worthless. There was tremendous amounts of hubbub about declassifying these files. This is the truth. We're going to drag you kicking and screaming. You're not ready, but we're going to make sure you're ready. Swallow your vegetables anyway. Here it is. Cosmic beings, UFOs. And then what they actually declassified was just that. Nothing. Nothing is what they declassified. There is genuinely nothing interesting in there, yet they continued to like hype and glaze it up. It's just trash. There's nothing even worth talking about. Like, yeah, there's the star-shape entity thing, but that's really it. Everything else is stuff we've already seen a bit about, and others are just completely embarrassing. Why was it uninteresting? There was just nothing substantial is the problem. Just more bleh. I don't know, man. That artist rendition was pretty convincing. Oh. Actual site photo with FBI lab rendered graphic overlay depicting corroborating eyewitness reports from September 2023 of an apparent ellipsoid bronze metallic object materializing out of a bright light in the sky. It's pretty thought-provoking. Also, if this is what FBI lab-rendered graphics look like in 2026, that's pretty insane. You gotta give them time to catch up, man. Technology is advancing quick. They're still on that GeoCities vibe. It takes time. That shit needs DLSS 5. It's from a game in the 90s. Is it? They just grabbed an image from a game? An old 90s game? So yeah, the alien files weren't anything super cool. Still nothing. It's still no pickles. Oh, I didn't even read the statements they said about it. This is unprecedented transparency in what the US government knows about UFOs, Hegseth said, adding, these files hidden behind classifications have long fueled justified speculation, and it's time the American people see it for themselves. We can't handle this kind of truth, man. You gotta keep this under wraps. This is gonna cause a nationwide panic. He's right. Dag nabbit, he's right. From a game that was on 7 floppy disks split across them due to file size. This was probably very innovative for its time, if that's the case. Don't copy that floppy. Any day now, though, we'll get some really irrefutable, hard proof of extraterrestrial visitation. I'm telling you. See, look, they're even teasing it. There's more to come. Government saying new materials will be released on a rolling basis every few weeks as records are found, reviewed, and declassified. I am salivating. I can't wait to see the next batch. No, like I said, my dad thought that this was nothing. He texted me last night saying that it was a big nothing burger. Yeah, that was unprompted too. Usually he doesn't get the latest UFO drops, but last night I guess he was just seeing it somewhere and he texted me, said, the released UFO vids are a real nothing burger, exclamation, exclamation. What a joke, exclamation, exclamation. So he was pretty upset. He sounds so invested. Well, I mean, he is to a certain degree. He doesn't keep up with, like, the latest baloney dumps, like the fucking spheres, the goddamn flying colanders, and, like, little soccer balls in the sky that people go crazy over. He doesn't care about that shit. But when it comes to, like, file releases and stuff, he at least tries to stay on top of it and take a look, but So far, he has not seen anything convincing. So he's not active in the UFO subreddit. He is not. He certainly doesn't like that very much. They're hiding the real UFO pictures like Bubble Bass hiding the pickles under his tongue. Brother, I've got bad news. I'm going to rip the Band-Aid off. There is none. Like, I'm sure they have some, like, wacky files and stuff, because they had so many old-school weirdo projects, like the MK Ultra stuff. They also had all of these, like, astral projecting projects that they were doing, the CIA was conducting with, like, the psychics and stuff, which is why, like, a year ago you saw those articles about the declassified CIA documents confirming that there was giants on Mars. But if you actually look at it, what they were doing is they had these drug-induced maniacs go in, fucking blindfold them, and try and, like, guess cue cards that they were holding, and then they'd tell them stories about how they astral projected onto Mars and had conversations with giants. Like, you're not going to find anything, like, actually convincing when it gets declassified, because they did some fucking nut job shit in the CIA back in, like, the 60s and 70s. They were actually trying to do, like, Marvel X-Men stuff. And then they wrote about it as if it was, like, successful. So, like, ESP, mind readers, astral projectors, time travelers, they had all of these kind of wacky programs. They also killed a lot of people. Well, I mean, in the pursuit of mutants and superhumans, that's to be expected. The gay bomb, too. Oh, the gay bomb is a classic. The gay bomb actually is a classic. The thought being drop a bomb that would cause all the dudes to just start fucking each other and not fight anymore. The enemy is gay now. But they still shot at us. I do love that thinking, though. Like, that's going to somehow be a really effective weapon. Like, let's just assume it works. Let's assume they did create the gay bomb. They deploy it. Now all the soldiers have sex. They all blow their load. Then they go right back to what they were doing before. So you bought yourself, like, a couple of minutes where they're fucking, and then what? It was a truly baffling proposal. Might backfire on your own army. Oh, can you imagine transporting the gay bomb, but it springs a leak, then the plane crashes because everyone's fucking themselves ferociously? No! We made the whole plane gay! No, it's gay! Shit! The one thing we couldn't plan for! No! Yeah, it was interesting stuff, man, I'm telling you. Those declassified files and the ones that we keep getting have some really wacky projects the government looked into at the very least. Some actively pursued. Oh, point I was making, to tie it back to the alien stuff, I do not think they have anything like groundbreaking in regards to aliens. Like, I don't think there's alien bodies, alien weaponry, alien craft that they've ever recovered or anything like that. Surely they have, like, unexplainable aerial phenomena, like stuff that they've already declassified, like the tic-tac, that kind of stuff, which is interesting, but I don't think it's extraterrestrial. I don't think they have anything, like, that's going to make you go, oh my god, aliens are real and they were here. Because I don't think aliens have ever been here. Because if they have, we would have never known about them. They're not going to get all the way here and fucking crash. That's not going to happen. The technology that they would need to get here, it would be unthinkable that it would somehow malfunction here. You can't even begin to understand and comprehend the technology that would be necessary for a different species to make it here. It defies our understanding of everything. But you can't debunk that tic-tac, can you? I can't. I don't know what it is, but I just don't think it's extraterrestrial. I don't think it was aliens in their cruiser. Just because I can't explain it doesn't mean that that's the default correct answer. You can't tell me whether or not there's poop in my pants right now. There's no way. You can make a guess, but you don't know. Here's something I've been glued to that I think more people need to be made aware of because it's very serious. Right now, there is a slapboxing match that's been going back and forth between Pete Hegseth and Anthropic. And really, it's the entire Pentagon versus Anthropic. they're behind Claude, which I'm sure many of you are familiar with. The military wants unrestricted access to Anthropic's AI. And they have a contract in place, and right now, Anthropic is planting its feet and lat spreading, refusing to be bullied into giving them unrestricted access.
The CEO of one of the biggest AI companies in the world is meeting with Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth today as the Pentagon threatens to essentially blacklist that company, Anthropic, from lucrative government contracts if the AI company doesn't lift its restrictions on how the military can use its technology. The Pentagon has a $200 million contract with Anthropic. And a source tells CNN that the company has concerns over two issues: AI-controlled weapons and mass domestic surveillance of American citizens.
Sounds pretty reasonable to me. Yeah, that one passes the smell test. Those are very legitimate concerns, and Anthropic wants these restrictions in place to ensure that its AI can't be used for mass surveillance of American citizens or autonomous AI weapons. And because of their reluctance to concede on that, Pete Hegseth has been stomping his feet, bench pressing 315, and has given them a deadline till Friday to play ball with them or risk being blacklisted. And the reality of the situation is, even if Anthropic doesn't budge and they wipe their ass with the contracts, numerous other AI companies will step up and just gladly take the bukkake from the Pentagon with completely unlimited access, no restrictions to their AI. But right now, Anthropic is the most powerful and the one that they really want, which is why they're trying so hard to get them to release these restrictions and let them use it for whatever they want. Which, again, the main things from Anthropic that they are very concerned about is the mass surveillance of American citizens and AI autonomous weaponry. Again, I think those are very reasonable restrictions to keep in place to ensure that the AI can't be used for those two things, because it fucking shouldn't be. If anyone here has ever watched Terminator or any sci-fi movie where AI assumes direct control of the military and everything goes tits up, you've seen this exact storyline play out in those montages that give you the lore breakdown for how we got there. Like, it's crazy to see it unfolding now in real time in the real world. Obviously exaggerating a bit, not quite to that level yet, but it is extremely serious. And I think any reasonable person would agree with these kind of restrictions, because AI shouldn't be used for mass surveillance on American citizens. And under no circumstances should physical attacks be determined by AI with no human input whatsoever. It shouldn't be making targeting decisions without human input. Like, fully autonomous AI weaponry is a terrible fucking idea. And actually, the CEO of Anthropic did an interview going over these two things because he's not backing down on them.
That's one reason why I'm worried about the autonomous drone swarm, right? So, the constitutional protections in our military structures depend on the idea that there are humans who would, we hope, disobey illegal orders. With fully autonomous weapons, we don't necessarily have those protections.
Now, for what it's worth, I'm no fan of Anthropic. There is no AI mega corporation you'll catch me waving the #1 foam finger around for and advocating for and glazing or anything like that. I think all of these companies are greedy as fuck, controlled by shady vampire ghoul creatures. And I know Anthropic has built up somewhat of a reputation for being the good guys in AI. But I am not one of the people that actually believe that at all. But he's 100% right. Fully autonomous weaponry cannot disobey an order, even an illegal one. It will always follow through, no matter what, unquestionably. And that's not a good thing. That's not a positive thing. I'm sure a lot of you have probably seen a lot of those like YouTube videos, or like a long time ago, the Reddit story that would circulate like once a year for the big updoots talking about the man who potentially saved the world, Stanislav Petrov, who was an officer during the Cold War era, and while on duty, he received a ping from the early warning system alerting him to incoming United States missiles. He believed that it could have been a false alarm, so he decided to go against protocol, and instead of reporting the incoming missiles, he waited. And it turns out his hunch was correct. It was a malfunction in the early warning system, but the standard protocol dictates that he was to report these incoming missiles, which could have led to a retaliation from the Soviets, which would have led to a retaliation from the US and could have been a nuclear disaster. There's been a lot of debate about whether or not that would have even happened had he reported the missiles, because there would have been other checks that would have went into place potentially, but with such high tension and such little time with incoming missiles, there's a lot of speculation that, yes, had he reported it, they could have immediately just decided to retaliatory strike the US. Regardless, what is irrefutable is that he made the right decision by disobeying protocol, disobeying like the order of operations here. By not reporting those missiles, he made sure that there wasn't a nuclear disaster. It was the right call. The point I'm making is the ability to disobey an order or not follow through on protocol is something that's important. And there's tons of examples of it. I just chose this because I think it's the one some of you have probably heard of. So there's no benefit to having fully autonomous AI weaponry that can't disobey anything and has to follow through on everything without question.
Update these protections appropriately. So, think about the Fourth Amendment. It is not illegal to, put cameras around everywhere in public space and, record every conversation. It's a public space. You don't have a right to privacy in a public space. But today, the government couldn't record that all and make sense of it. Right. With AI, the ability to transcribe speech, to look through it, correlate it all, you could say, oh, there's this, this person is a member of the opposition. This person is expressing this view, and make a map of all 100 million. And so, are you going to make a mockery of the Fourth Amendment by the technology finding kind of technical ways around it?
He then goes on to say that maybe we need to update a lot of these protections to encompass things like AI finding workarounds for it. And the point he is making is that this kind of implementation of AI could very much make a mockery of the Fourth Amendment, flushing it down the shitter. His point is, even though it's not illegal to have cameras in public all over the place, out the wazoo till the cows come home, without AI, they can't piece together everything, comb through everything, make a map of people that's, opposition, stuff like that. But with AI, they can. Mass surveillance is made much more possible. It would circumvent protections of things like the Fourth Amendment. He's right. So he is not backing down on these things, which is what's causing so much friction with Pete Hegseth and the Pentagon, which I really feel like any sensible person should see and be extremely concerned, because I think these are reasonable restrictions. Now, unfortunately, like I said, even if Anthropic does stick to their guns here and it does cost them this contract, it doesn't just die there. It doesn't fizzle out. OpenAI and XAI have made it pretty clear they're willing to just, with a wide open mouth, just take the golden shower, let them use it for things like mass surveillance or autonomous AI weaponry. They're totally fine with completely unrestricted access, which had my jaw on the floor because XAI is Elon Musk's company. You're telling me Elon Musk would be okay with mass surveillance? No, not that guy. No, I'd eat my left shoe. I don't believe that for even a second. Maybe he just doesn't know. Yeah, that's probably what it is. Anyway, though, I do think this is something everyone should care about. I feel like the restrictions are reasonable, and the military should have no qualms about not being able to be used for mass surveillance on American citizens or completely autonomous AI weaponry. Maybe that's a hot take, maybe I'm on the crack pipe, but I think those restrictions are totally fair, and it's kind of alarming that they're making such a huge stink about it, and going to, outright saying they're going to blacklist Anthropic should they not lift those limitations. Don't think that's a good thing. It makes it seem like they want to use it to spy on every American citizen, and they want to use it for autonomous AI weaponry. Those aren't good things. That's how it's looking here. So yeah, just wanted to yap about this a bit. That's it. See ya. The vast majority of numbers you see on the internet aren't real. The accounts that you interact with, the posts that you see, oftentimes aren't even made by a human being on the other side of the keyboard. The cyberspace is dominated by bots. And unless you've just woken up from a coma, this isn't news to you. Everybody knows that now. It's an accepted part of cruising the World Wide Web that the shit you see is artificially inflated. And it's become a huge yapping point, a massive topic, specifically dead internet theory, and diving even deeper into the minutia of bots. Cannonballing into the deep end of the pool, you will find viewbots, a topic that often gets very aggressive and accusatory because it is so prevalent across streams, in particular on Twitch, on YouTube, on Kick. Streamers of all shapes and sizes are often using viewbots to boost their numbers. It's not some big conspiracy, it's not deep state propaganda or anything like that. It is a provable, real thing that platforms just don't seem to be taking any real action on at all. I could right now go live on Twitch openly stating I'm viewbotting it out the wazoo to fucking 20k viewers, and maybe the worst that would happen is I get like a 24-hour suspension from Twitch. They don't care. They made that push like a year ago about getting bots off the platform, but that lasted for what, 2 fucking days? And then they took like a catastrophic hit to their overall viewer metrics, and I guess they pumped the brakes because at the end of the day, and this is something people say a lot, and it is true, those huge numbers are good for Twitch as well to advertisers, even if the numbers are fake, even if they know it's botted, phony baloney, fraudulent viewer metrics. It doesn't matter. It makes them more appealing to brands. So it seems like they are very hands-off when it comes to doling out big punishment for view bots. It's not exactly a well-kept secret. It's pretty out there in the open that tons of streamers view bot. Now, the reason why I'm yapping about it again is because just yesterday, or maybe it was even earlier today, I don't know, time moves in a weird fucking fashion once you hit your 30s. Everything blends together, your bones fucking creak anytime you walk up or down stairs. Anyway, though, I'll stop bitching and whining about that. I know you're not here to listen to me play a sad song on the world's smallest violin about my deteriorating cartilage. The CEO of Night Media, Reed, came forward with a post out of nowhere saying that it's time to start viewbotting. That's the title of the post, which is a eye-catching title, no doubt. Very seldom will you hear someone in that kind of position just say the quiet part out loud here about success in the streaming space. And make no mistake, Night Media is fucking huge. They are one of the top dogs in the YouTuber streamer agency space. They are huge in the industry. They represented Mr. Beast for a while. I don't know if they still do, but they have represented and still actively represent massive creators. So it was certainly interesting to see him with a post like this that makes it seem like he's out there saying, everyone's got a viewbot, we got to open Pandora's box. If you're not pooping, you're farting. If you're not using viewbots, you're at a disadvantage. Wake the fuck up, samurai. Time to get viewbots on the horn. But reading the post, it's a little bit different, though ultimately his tone around viewbots does seem to be somewhat positive. What does it take to cut through all the noise on the internet? If everyone else is botting, why shouldn't you? We used to live in a world where if you made great content, algorithms would find an audience for your videos. Now, creators have to clip farm, pay clippers, and sometimes even viewbot to have a better chance of capturing more attention and breaking through the noise. This is especially true on platforms like Twitch, where viewbotting can surface you on the front page of popular streaming categories. Off rip, this is some turbo doomer shit because it kind of positions it as like your only option if you're just getting started. Oh, there used to be a time where if you made great content, you could get found, but those times are way behind us in the shitter now. It's gone. That's a era long forgotten, like the saber-toothed tiger. Now, if you want to cut through the noise, you gotta clip farm, pay clippers, or Lord help us, even viewbot. You gotta get down and dirty in the pig pen. It's the only way. When that's not true. You can still make great content and get found. It does happen. I think the best example of that is Queso. I would be shocked to learn Queso viewbotted at any point in his life. I don't even think the guy could find a viewbot website or provider. I genuinely don't think he would even know where to begin with something like that. And he has blown up solely because he makes good content. He cut through the noise. And this is something I've always said, luck is a huge part of it. It is. It just is. But what he is right about is that in the current day and age, there is an alternative that doesn't rely as much on RNG, and that is pay to win. You can stand a better chance of standing out in the oversaturation of content creation by paying for viewbots to float your stream to the top of categories, or pay for viewbots on other socials where you're spamming clips from your streams so you could boost up numbers on a wacky moment or something and have it like explode elsewhere because you inflated the numbers through ViewBot, so then people could find your stream and maybe organically grow it that way, but you still ViewBotted in order to boost a clip that led people to the stream. Like, there are paths that don't rely as much on luck, because if you just have money to start and just start buying views, it does help put you in front of more eyes. It's something that's very common, especially on Twitter. But at the end of the day, I just don't like this mentality that Reed kind of encapsulates here of, well, everyone else is cheating, so I should too. And he's trying to make like a strong argument that everyone else is doing it. Content alone, it could be the most slapping, banging content ever. It's not good enough. It's all about the distribution method now, which is dominated through bots and shit like that. So really, you got to think about this strategy of using bots. I just don't like how he's positioning bots as a strategy instead of calling it what it really is, which is cheating. Like, yes, you can gamify the distribution and shit through bots. Everyone fucking knows that. But I just don't think it's something that should be outwardly encouraged. And it's really weird that the CEO of Night Media, one of the biggest agencies in the space, especially for streamers, is having this kind of viewpoint. Like, his title isn't exactly indicative of his thoughts, because he does say, like, this is a problem, this is an exploit, but he speaks about it like, this exploit exists, so you have to use this now. It's like, you really should, like, almost that it's a necessity. And I just don't like that perspective, nor that mentality. I just think there's a reason why this topic on viewbots is always so passionate from so many people, because viewbots fucking suck. Nobody likes that. It is just a completely dog shit norm right now. And I don't think it needs to be even more normalized. But it's not some requirement or anything like that. Reed then goes on to make a mention of advertisers and viewbots. Do advertisers have any way of tracking botted engagement, and why isn't Twitch cracking down on this at all? Those are two really good questions. The answer to do advertisers have a way of tracking botted engagement is a big nobody fucking knows. My gut tells me there's no way advertisers would have any clue, because how would they? How would they distinguish between authentic and real viewers through just a number plastered on a stream? It'd be entirely on Twitch to take care of the bots and get that number to be where it's like the authentic viewers and not just like, fraudulent ones. I don't see how they could ever possibly know what's real and what's fake based on just the publicly available information, and I doubt Twitch is behind the scenes saying, okay, so your advertisement was played in front of 1 million concurrent viewers over the course of this campaign. Of that, about 15K were real human beings. We really appreciate your business. Like, I highly doubt that fucking happens, right? Like, it doesn't happen on a streamer basis with sponsors either. So, like, if a streamer is botting his stream up to, like, 5K, but really he only has, like, 1,000 real viewers there, and he works with a brand, and he sells to this brand at the 5K concurrent viewers, he's making a lot of extra money versus if he sold at his real 1K, and now the brand gets put in front of what they believe is 5,000 people, but is actually 4,000 bots with only 1,000 real people there. So maybe the campaign only sees them make like 3 fucking sales. Like, man, Perry Poutine Gotcha Game only got 3 clicks through this guy's stream, even though he has 5K concurrent viewers. What's going on here? And then you can maybe speculate and surmise that, okay, he's botting. But then you'd also never really know for sure, because you could also say like, okay, maybe his community's just not interested in this gotcha game. These brands, I don't think, have any idea, is the point I'm making. I don't see how they would. It's entirely on Twitch to combat the bots, and I don't think there's a way or a tool that these brands have access to that normal people don't, that lets them see real versus fake viewers. And then to Reed's second question about why does Twitch not crack down on it, I think everyone knows, because Twitch also benefits from these hugely inflated numbers. They see a lot of upside to these massive numbers being housed on Twitch. I think that's pretty clear. Probably don't need to dive any deeper on that. And it is something that he starts to tackle in his next section here about platforms needing to take action. He goes on to talk about, how prevalent the botting problem is, as well as the reluctance from platforms to act on it, believing that the more views there are, the better things look for advertisers, which many people agree with. And again, that probably is the simple truth of it. If these numbers are huge, the platforms are probably very happy, because then it's more appealing to advertisers. It could end up with more money to the platform itself. I think it really is that simple. Now, it's this section that ties directly into the eye-catching title that he used here for this piece. If everyone else is doing it, should you? I would never explicitly say you should bot your views on Twitch, other than in the title of this article. But the reality is, if you're not view botting and everyone else is, you're at a disadvantage. When you're competing in a category where you're buried if you don't have 500 plus viewers, maybe shifting your strategy to paying clippers and buying bots helps a streamer break through. I wanted to see what it would cost to bot a stream, and for $180 a week on ViewBotter, I can get 1,500 followers, 225 chatters, and 750 concurrent viewers. Not bad for less than $800 a month, and these companies accept crypto payments. So, he's saying that he's not actively advocating for ViewBotting your channel, but if you're not, well, you got your own dick in your butt. Like, everyone around you is doing it. Maybe you should shift your strategy. I don't know. To me, that feels like he is advocating for it. Maybe I'm on the crack pipe. He's pointing out a real problem, that these platforms don't enforce it, so the precedent has been set that there's no actual consequences. But it does seem like he's saying, you really should ViewBot your streams if you want to succeed. And he does prop it up as a legitimate strategy and even insinuates that it's not like super expensive, saying, not bad for less than $800 a month. Look at this huge head start you can get. Really should be something to consider. And I get it. It is something that people obviously consider and pull the trigger on, no doubt. But it's not exactly something that I think should be encouraged either. It sucks. It is a bad practice. And there's a reason why this is such a big topic, because people don't like ViewBotters. It's not something that I think should be talked about in a manner that feels like it's positive and encouraging, and even setting it up as maybe even your only option if you want to stand out, because as Reed said multiple times, good content isn't good enough. You got to really consider distribution, and distribution ViewBots can really do wonders for. I don't know. To me, it just rubs me the wrong way. He then closes by talking about ViewBot detection and how Twitch CEO mentioned it's a game of cat and mouse, and that really there's not a whole lot of great information that he could find on how brands can detect ViewBots or anything like that. And then he finishes the big takeaway. We've entered an era where good content alone isn't enough, distribution tactics are. When clipping, paid amplification, and even bots can artificially push you up the rankings, the playing field starts to tilt toward whoever is willing to game it. Twitch's detection tools feel reactive at best, and advertisers don't seem to have a reliable way to verify what's real. If botting becomes normalized, creators face a brutal question. Compete clean and risk invisibility, or bend the rules to survive. Long term, though, this erodes trust in the entire ecosystem. Again, he drives that point home about good content alone isn't enough. It's all about distribution tactics, and I just firmly disagree. Good content alone is sometimes enough. But again, it does take luck. It does. It always has, and it always will. Distribution tactics, though, he's right, can be gamified and boost your shit and immediately give you a better chance, so you're not overly reliant on luck. If you'd rather focus instead on pay-to-win mechanics through clippers and ViewBots and stuff like that, then you would be entering the Thunderdome competing head-to-head, toe-to-toe with countless others who are doing that daily. That is very, very common. And in many, many cases, it's hard to tell if it's real or fake. So it is a legitimate problem, and it sucks that platforms don't do anything about it. He's not wrong about the core, that there is a huge problem because these platforms don't crack down on ViewBots. Now everyone fucking does it seems. And it fucking blows. And I imagine he's right that it is a very real consideration for tons of streamers. Well, why would I even bother trying to do this legitimately when everyone else is fucking cheating? Everyone else is ViewBotting, so why wouldn't I? And it's hard to argue, because it's morally correct to, play fair. It would be hard to make someone be like, okay, then I'll do that and go nowhere unless I get fucking crazy lucky. When the alternative is apparently cheap ViewBots that give them a better chance. It's something that he's not wrong about in his assessment here. Again, I just find it weird that it feels like he's speaking on it almost positively, you're at a huge disadvantage, you really need to think about this strategy that actually isn't all that expensive if you want to compete on an even playing field. Because at the end of the day, I don't think ViewBots are something that should be encouraged. I don't think it should be twisted to the point where people consider ViewBots like a strategy as opposed to just cheating. Because viewbots are bad for everyone. There's a reason why it's such a passionate topic for so many people. Because it sucks. It sucks for the people that aren't doing it, and it sucks for viewers too. Like, viewbots are just shitty overall, like, genuinely. So, like, it's not something that I'd like to see more people start being like, yeah, let's start really thinking about doing more viewbotting, as if there's not already enough. So, anyway, this was a very interesting post, to say the least, and I just wanted to yap about it. That's really about it. See ya. I can't believe this isn't being talked about more. I only just now heard of it, and I'm tardy to the party. I've only seen, like, a couple of articles even loosely addressing this. Did you know that a former tobacco executive, upper echelon zombie in the tobacco industry, is now at a high-level position in the CDC? I only caught wind of this because a buddy of mine sent me this article from Medical Professionals Reference, which talks about why this is such a confusing and concerning decision from the CDC to give this position at the CDC, Deputy Director of Legislative Affairs, to Stephen Sale, who previously worked for Fontum Ventures, a British tobacco company subsidiary. The company was primarily focused on e-cigarettes and nicotine pouches, but I think it should be pretty obvious the conflict of interest with this man in this position. I think it's obvious, at least. I'm hoping you have a functioning frontal lobe and can piece this complex puzzle together here. It's wild. I've seen it described as appointing an arsonist as a firefighter, and I feel like that's an apt comparison. It's baffling, and it extends across so many other decisions throughout the entire administration. I will not stop harping on this one in particular, for example. Donald Trump put Lawrence Taylor on the Presidential Council of Sports, Fitness, and Nutrition. That is a position that deals with children. Lawrence Taylor is a registered sex offender. It's not some buried secret. He is literally a sex offender, and it is well known, and yet Trump puts him in this position that works directly with kids. It's fucking insanity. And now in the CDC, we have a tobacco industry veteran whose entire business model, his entire job, was trying to find ways to get more people hooked on their product. Why the fuck is this fungus now at a high-level position in the CDC? That is the antithesis. Like, it's shocking. But like at this point, it shouldn't be. I genuinely don't think I would be surprised if Trump held a surprise conference tomorrow and said, listen, everyone, I want you to put your hands together, give a big round of applause to Satan. He's coming on board to lead the ethics committee here. And then everyone claps like, yeah, it's about time. Wait a minute, hold on. Hold your horses, I got another big announcement. Professor Evil will also be joining as part of the new Smile initiative for this country. Whoopee! Like, it's actually unreal how this administration is finding the worst possible fits for these positions, and it's just so blatant. Like, it's just, like, literally right in your face. Anyway, back to the Super Saiyan of smoking Steven here. In an editorial published in the journal Tobacco Control by Dr. Timothy McAfee, former head of the CDC's Office of Smoking and Health, he called the appointment unprecedented. It should be 100% clear that we don't want former tobacco industry executives working inside the nation's public health agencies helping influence policy adoption. Others also said that Sale's employment breaks earlier promises from U.S. Health Secretary RFK Jr. to shut the revolving door between industry and government. I promise you, RFK Jr. doesn't even remember he said that. That might have been the brainworm talking. Right now, he is just too busy coming up with new math.
Do you know what it President Trump has a different way of calculating. If there's two ways of calculating percentage. If you have a $600 truck and you reduce it to 10, that's a 600% reduction.
This guy spent way too much time licking toilet bowls clean. He has completely fried his fucking brain with all the butt chugging of methylene blue and all the heroin that he's done throughout his life. Holy shit. That is not a 600% reduction. That is impossible. That's a 98% reduction. Even fucking a 4th grade mathematics student could tell you that much. It's simple calculations, and yet he keeps going.
Was questioning me during a hearing, and she was ridiculing President Trump for his math, and she was saying it's mathematically impossible to have a drug drop by 600% cost, which he had claimed. And I said, well, if the drug was $100 and it raised the price to $600, that would be a 600% rise. Well, if it drops from 600 to 100, that's a 600% savings. And the president used that mathematical device to illustrate the magnitude of the theft that has been happening against our country and our people, as he said.
You fucking dolt. Oh my goodness, it's painful. Jiminy Christmas, that's not how that works. You are not reducing anything by 600%. When you reduce something by 100%, it hits zero. Anything over that, it's going negative, which means you would be getting paid to take it, the drug. This is ridiculous. And you're not saving 600% either. If you're trying to like swap around the nomenclature, trying to get rid of the 600% reduction. No, in fact, you're saving 600. You're not. And no matter how you spin it. And for some reason, they just will not let it go. They keep doubling down on something that is, like, it's not even subjective. It is objectively, provably incorrect. I don't even get the point of lying about it. Just say, he was wrong. That's not how that works. Whoopsie-daisy. But drug prices are coming down. Yeehaw. Like, is it hard to do that? Like, what? It's crazy. It's actually crazy. The point I'm making is there is no way he even remembers that whole lip service he delivered about shutting the revolving door on industry and government. By the way, glyphosate fully back in action, which is something that RFK was really against, but now he's got justifications for it, you know. Now he sees things a little bit different. So of course he's breaking this promise. That's like the number one thing the administration does, is just break every promise ever. Anyone remember the Epstein files? Anybody? Hello? Anyway, back on to the topic of Stephen Sale. Andrew Nixon, a spokesperson for the Department of Health and Human Services, told Stat that Sale brings more than 25 years of experience working at senior levels of the federal government and will be a valuable asset at the CDC to ensure effective coordination with Congress. That's just such a meaningless statement. I have 30 years of being short, but does that make me a good candidate to be on the tall person committee? I don't really think so. I don't think that experience is all that valuable when you look at his history of trying to get the population hooked on harmful for their health products. He was a tobacco executive. So why the fuck would he even be considered for a position in the CDC that is the opposite? Now, according to officials, Sale doesn't have any tobacco company stocks, but according to McAfee, the new appointment is opening a door that has been closed for decades and letting the fox into the henhouse with open arms. Now, being fully open and honest here, I personally don't think this is the first time it's happened. It opened a door that had been closed for decades. I think the CDC has definitely had problems, and I do definitely think there has been some pharmaceutical meddling in the CDC previously. This just happens to be very egregious and very public-facing now, with a former tobacco industry executive coming on board the CDC in a very public fashion, but it somehow is flying under the radar. This is a position that directly deals with policy, as I understand it. And even if he doesn't have any stock in tobacco companies any longer, this cannot be the best person for the job. It is extremely concerning and paints a picture that there's going to be really light stances on tobacco and maybe a bit of rewriting around the health problems, and maybe we start looking at vaping more optimistically, because now vaping's starting to get a bad rep too. It's a lot of issues. I think anyone that is able to think should be able to come up with a laundry list of problems someone like this having this position can cause. Anyway, I wanted to yap about this a little bit because I actually was stunned. Because this one is just so fucking ridiculous. That's really about it. So yeah. Hold your horses. No, this video is not about One Punch Man Season 3. If anyone out there has eyeballs and you've unfortunately subjected them to the torture of One Punch Man Season 3, you probably know that not much has changed since the last video I made on it in terms of how disastrous this season has been. But I want to give credit where credit is due. The most recent episode, episode 8, is the first time this season I felt like I was actually watching an animated series. We had a fight sequence with characters that actually moved in this episode. Whoopee! Yeah, we fucking got there, baby. Anything is possible! This is the first episode where the fight scenes actually have motion. There are moments in the flashy flash fight that I think are really good. Is it perfect? No. But compared to the rest of the dog shit we've been fed, this was a gourmet meal of an episode. And I think what this shows, at least to me personally, is that JC Staff can deliver quality at least to the same level they did in Season 2 of One Punch Man, which in hindsight, pretty solid, but Bandai is the reason why season 3 is so shitty, because of lack of budget they were willing to allocate to the season, lack of time they gave JC staff to work on it. Somehow they still had it be just like rushed out and farted whatever they could get on the table. Even though it's been 6 years since season 2, I think Bandai is the main villain here that has caused season 3 to be so awful, so rough. And episode 8, I think, is irrefutable evidence that JC staff can deliver good quality animation if they have resources and time to do so, which Bandai deprived them of, just left them fucking emaciated, malnourished with no money and no time to work on it. But I was pleasantly surprised at the quality of episode 8. The flashy flash fight, I thought, was really solid overall. It doesn't salvage season 3, like it doesn't redeem it, but it is a nice treat. There's only a handful of episodes left in season 3, so this is very tardy to the party here. This would be like me finally hitting a growth spurt and reaching 6 feet tall by the time I'm 85 years old. You know, at the ripe age of 85, I'm finally living my dream of being 6 feet tall. But you know, it's a little late. Kind of cool anyway, I guess, though. Point is, I'm glad episode 8 was good. It's finally a step in the right direction, and maybe I'm just suckling on the supple bosom of hopium. Maybe I'm just latched onto the titty here, but maybe this is a sneak peek at things to come, that the next handful of episodes, it's going to finish on a high note instead of this sad whimper that the rest of the season has been. Probably unlikely, but who knows. What I do know is that we here at Cheeky decided to extend the Black Friday sales offer to today. So today will be the final day for the 20% off of all of our soaps using any creator codes. So go to usecheeky.com right now to get the best soap in the universe at an incredible deal. Anyway, like I said, this video is not even about One Punch Man, but I wanted to mention that really quick. This video is actually about a different anime, one that a while ago I said I didn't like. And I dropped it after like 5 or so episodes. It just wasn't hitting for me. But recently I wanted to give it another shake, another spin, because I've seen perpetual glaze for it, and I thought, let's just really commit to it and let's watch the series. And I really, really like it. Frieren. Frieren is a show that I'm sure you've probably heard of in some capacity because people love this show. And when I initially watched it when it first came out, I just had a hard time getting into it. Like, it was a very nice looking show and it was very comfy and cozy, but I just wasn't getting invested into the world or the characters. But I just keep seeing and have always seen so much praise for it that I just thought, you know what, let's just watch the whole thing, and if it's really not for me, it's not for me, but at least I, consumed the entire thing to know for sure. Which is typically not a philosophy I subscribe to. I think, like One Piece, for example. I, out of spite, committed to watching the entire One Piece series, but it took me like fucking 400 episodes to fall in love with it. I don't think it's reasonable or rational to expect everyone else to go through with that level of headstrong commitment for something that you weren't, immediately loving. I think it's totally okay to drop something after a few episodes if it's just not feeling like it vibes with you. But for Frieren, I just continue to see amazing things. So I said, let's do it. I want to give it another shot, and I'm really happy I did, because this time around, I genuinely thought it was like a masterpiece. I think Frieren is incredible, and now I'm super pumped for season 2. I think it was such an amazing experience. I don't know what demon crawled up my ass the first time I watched this, but it must have been clouding my vision with sin and folly, because I was a big dummy back then, I suppose. And looking back on it, it's weird because I've never had an issue with slow burn in media, whether it's games, movies, shows. In fact, some of my favorite are more of a slow burn experience, which Frieren definitely is. But I don't know, I guess just initially I didn't get hooked by the concept, and Frieren as a character wasn't someone that I felt I could care about across many episodes. And I think that's probably because the show does something I don't think any other shows I've ever seen have done. It starts you at the end of a hero's journey. Frieren's previous party had just completed the major task, defeating the ultimate evil, saving the world. You as the viewer don't get to see that happen. You don't watch the show that focused on that hero's journey. You are watching the show of what happens next through the eyes of Frieren, who is an immortal being. She is an elf, so the 10 years they spent on that journey saving the world, that's not even a blip on the radar of her overall lifespan. And the way she views the world around her is very distant and removed emotionally, because Everything she is experiencing is so trivial in the grand scheme of her never-ending life. Her extraordinarily long life, all of this will be meaningless at some point. So she's very apathetic. There is a comparison I drew on my first watch that I still think is somewhat applicable, where there is a game, an amazing game I played a long time ago on the Xbox 360 called Lost Odyssey, that kind of tackles occasionally similar things as Frieren through like some short stories in the game. And I don't know, I think maybe I just got the wrong impression for what the show was really about and where the show was going. Because I didn't give it enough of a chance. But I'm just so happy I went back to watch Frieren, because this show really is special. And even the first 4 or 5 episodes this time around, I was a lot more gripped by. And the show does, like, really gather a lot of steam after you get through, like, the initial building blocks and the foundation that it lays. My initial impressions of Frieren was that she was just going to be, like, kind of a generic stoic character, an immortal, where, like, everyone she could ever care about will die, so what's the point in caring? Which is something I've seen in other shows where they have, like, a character that feels kind of like a robot, like an emotionless husk. And I thought that's what they were setting Frieren up to be, where eventually they'd start to like crack that shell slowly but surely. She is immortal. Time is very different to her. But she has emotions. She has tons of emotions, and she conveys them in her own way, and she subtly changes as well in her own way as a result of all of her experiences and everyone that she meets. And she starts to have regrets, and she starts to care to learn about these people that she has a party with. So it's a very cool growth to see across the season, and I just think the show is beautifully done. It has action too. It's not like just dialogue and doing chores. Granted, a lot of it is them making stops in their journey to do certain things, but the stops are also a really valuable experience too, and they're not like boring or anything. I actually think some of the stops are the most memorable parts of the show, with what you get to learn and what comes from their experiences at these stops, where she's like collecting grimoires and whatever is payment. It's just unlike anything I'd seen before, and I think my initial impressions were that it was going to be like kind of boring, maybe even slice of lifey, so I just maybe didn't tune out and connect with the themes. But going back this time around, man, it fucking hits. Time has always been like a very grand, scary concept to me. In fact, 2 of my tattoos are time-oriented pieces, as corny as that sounds. It's just so interesting the things you can play with in this ballpark when it comes to time. And the way Frieren uses it with her, I think is brilliant. The show is just truly a complete package. It is visually breathtaking. I think they've knocked it out of the park with the animation. The emotional beats really resonate with viewers clearly, because it's like one of the top rated anime of all time. But like even me personally, a lot of like the themes that we're coming across, like they do hit, and it feels very poignant. Like it is a well-executed show when it comes to its emotional moments, and its characters, I feel like, have a lot of depth and are very well fleshed out and established, and it makes you care about them and their journey. And it does also have action, and I think the action is great. I'll probably wait to do a full review on Frieren after Season 2, because it's right around the corner. But for now, I just wanted to put this out here about how wrong I was with my initial impressions of Frieren. This show slaps. I think Frieren is a masterpiece. So I definitely get the glaze now. And yeah, I just wanted to talk about it a little bit. That's about it. So yeah. All right, hold your horses. Twist my arm, why don't you? I'll review Fallout Season 2. I wasn't planning on it because I'm so tardy to the party with it. I only finished Season 2 like 3 days ago or something like that. And the conversation's been there, done that, and now that the dust is settled, I guess I'll give you my thoughts on it because people keep asking. I thought it was alright. I think it's much weaker than Season 1. There are quite a few things about it I found disappointing and just a step backwards compared to where they were last season. And that's not to say Season 1 was perfect or anything, but it was very solid. I really did enjoy it. I went in expecting like poop and maybe even a little shit, but I actually got something that was entertaining. Season 2, though, while I didn't get any fecal matter or anything, it is just not as strong. There were still things I liked about it, but overall, as a complete package, it just left a lot to be desired. I guess before diving into complaints, I'll at least give you like the things I really liked about the season. I think they nailed the look of New Vegas. I really think they crushed it. Like, they did a great job in season 1 with sets and costume and everything. Like, I do think they capture the spirit of the games really well. In season 2, it's no different. I think they absolutely knock it out of the park with the way New Vegas looks. I think they crush it with the characters. Death Claws, I thought, looked great. Like, well, outside of one scene where it got a little janky, but like, for the most part, I really think they nail the aesthetic of New Vegas, and I do think they capture the spirit of it as well for the most part. The action, again, shines. I think they do a really good job of bringing the over-the-top gore from the game to the show and keeping like the almost silliness of some of the, blowing people's limbs off and shit intact and making it feel like it fits in the show. I do really like the way they handle action. I think they've continued to do a good job with season 2 in that regard. I think the action slaps, though there are quite a few things. It's not quite how I remember it from the game. Granted, it's been many years since I played the game, but it doesn't follow what I thought it would from the established lore of New Vegas. But what they put here still works in the context of the show, so I can excuse it to a certain degree. There were some things I really didn't like about some of the changes they made, but overall, I thought it was fine in the context they built it in for this series. That being said, I've got to make a mention, and I know this is supposed to be like, the thumbs up moment, the thumbs up section here, but I have to make a mention that what they did with the factions here, I think, was a big old blunder. I don't really like the changes they made to the factions at all. I guess we can get into that more in a minute if I want to dive deeper into spoilers, but if you played New Vegas, you're better off just neuralizing yourself and forgetting everything that happened in there, especially in regards to factions, because the show takes pretty much none of it. But like I said, what they do and like how they change it fits in the context of this show, but even still, I couldn't help but be disappointed, specifically about some of the decisions they made with the factions. I also think that the best part of Season 2 was the flashbacks. I think that's where the writing's the best, because outside of the flashbacks, I think that's when it really stumbles. The worst part about Season 2 is the writing. It's what really holds it back, and I think that's where they took many steps in the wrong direction when it comes to the Fallout television series here. It honestly felt like there were just moments where the writers just said, fuck it. Like, in the writing room, someone was just like, guys, we're thinking too hard. Just run it as is, and we'll just, fingers crossed, hope no one really stops to digest it. Because there are some nonsensical shit that goes on here. Best example, spoiler alert, the death clause in New Vegas. New Vegas is not the way it was in the game. I do think it looks very similar, and I think they capture this, like, the aesthetic of it, and I think it looks really cool, but they do make a crucial change, which is now it's infested with Deathclaw. And people live just outside of this barricade. And there are a bunch of Deathclaws in there, and at the end of the season, Maximus fights the Deathclaws in there. And he starts beating some of them, but there's a lot. And then at one point he gets tail whipped and sent through the barricade. Very easily. Like, the Deathclaw could have broken through this. It is literally like one piece of sheet metal. And they launch Maximus through it like a fucking missile. And now all of a sudden the Deathclaw start pouring out into the area where people live. Why the fuck are people living there with all those Deathclaws on the other side of a very flimsy, unreliable barricade? And why are the Deathclaw not going out there and eating them at any point? There is a plentiful food source on the other side of a very tiny barricade they could easily break out, and yet they just never do. I guess maybe the idea is the Deathclaws are too stupid to do that? I don't know. It just felt really weird. And like, I tried to cope initially like, oh, maybe it's just because the power armor was so heavy that it busted through this near impenetrable barricade. But then the question naturally arose in my noodle, well, if the power armor is so heavy that it can do that, then the Deathclaw must be like 10x that strength in order to ragdoll the power armor like that. Meaning, if they just hit their tail against that barricade, it would have fucking disintegrated it. So, like, there's no way of spinning it where the Deathclaw couldn't have been going through that barricade anytime they wanted to. They just I guess, decided they never wanted the food on the other side. And I just really don't get why people would choose to live there knowing the Deathclaw are there. Just very odd. Very, very weird choice there. And there's a couple other moments like that. For example, like, there's a scene where the ghoul gets punched and impaled on a big spiky pole in the middle of town, and he is there for like an entire day, and the town just goes on around him. He's asking for help, no one helps, which I think fits perfectly in line in the Fallout universe, but also, nobody steals from him. Nobody goes over and kills him or anything. No one steals anything from him. No one messes with him. I thought the implication was going to be when he was stuck on that pole and starting to, go feral, was that people were going to go just start stealing from him, then he was really going to be fucked. But that never happened. They just leave him alone and ignore him. Which, ignoring the cries for help is one thing, that makes sense. But you're telling me no one there in this world, this town of people that do anything to survive and scavenge supplies, you're telling me they wouldn't go just take the easy supplies from this ghoul's bag who is completely stuck on this pole? Like, come on. No, don't, like, be serious. There's just some moments like that where it just... And another one, sorry I keep going down these, but the more I think about it, the more, like, ridiculous it is. Norm, Lucy's brother, Norm, who I think has another interesting side plot that goes on throughout here, which gives you a lot more insight into, like, actual employees of Vault Tech who have now been thawed out. He is now in a position where they've turned on him, it's mutiny, and he's about to get killed, but then rad roaches come through and start killing all of the vault dwellers that were about to kill him. And how does Norm survive? He hides under a table that is literally like a picnic table. It is just open on all four sides. And the rad roaches go right by him, kill all of the vault dwellers, eat them for a while, and then just leave. Presumably going right by Norm, who is just exposed in the open there under that table. Why? He didn't have like the cloak of invisibility or anything. The rad roaches had already been spotted like on the ground and everything. They would have seen Norm. Why didn't they kill him? And also, they were feasting upon and killing all of the vault dwellers for quite a while, and yet one of them survived. Conveniently, the one Vault Tech employee that Norm had befriended. It's just very, like, the plot armor they give characters in Season 2 is, like, just very peculiar because they don't even bother trying to give you a logical explanation for how they could have possibly survived. And oftentimes just felt kind of flat. I'll be getting into some spoilers here, but since the show is still pretty new, I won't get into, like, the biggest spoilers. But one thing this season did is they really seemed to want to do more gags. Like, that's the impression I got. Now, Season 1, of course, still had, like, comedy and stuff in there. It's fucking Fallout. Of course that's going to be there. And I thought it did a pretty decent job capturing that spirit in Season 1. In Season 2, I think overall they do a good job of capturing the spirit of the Fallout world. But when it comes to its characters and some of, like, the jokes they tried to play off, I thought they really fucking fumbled and fell flat on their face. Like, the entire side plot of, like, the inbreeding support group, I thought offered nothing and was just like a headache every time they were given screen time. And they got way more screen time than I think they ever should have for the role that it played in the show. So, like, incest jokes were in Season 1, and they were kind of like, haha, that's wacky. But in Season 2, they go hog wild with incest jokes. They even, like, attach a whole hemorrhoid onto the overall narrative ass, where Reg now has an inbreeding support group, which is supposed to help, vault dwellers overcome the trauma of the circumstances around their birth being the product of incest and inbreeding. But he offers snacks, and the vault dwellers don't actually care about any of that incest shit. They just care about the snacks. They want to snack down, and then it becomes a big snack club, which then becomes a problem because they're running low on water. So Overseer Betty is now losing control of her vault. She's being pushed to the edge because Reg refuses to concede here. He refuses to just go belly up and give, the snacks back. He even makes a point saying, you can take away the inbreeding support group, but you can't take away the snack budget, then grabs a handful of Jell-O and eats it. And this goes on for so long. Like, I feel like there were so many scenes of this fucking snack club, and it's just, like, it didn't make me laugh. It was just like, okay, come on, let's get back to like the interesting stuff, please. Why are we spending so much time here? The whole idea is it's supposed to show that Betty is losing control of her vault. And I think they could have done that without giving so much screen time to something so fucking insignificant and annoying. And I just think that's the most egregious example. There's other moments where the show does similar things where it like lands on a gag and then just like beats the shit out of it. But anyway, I think like one of the worst writing sins that season 2 makes is the inconsistency around some of its characters. At the end of season 1, we saw the Ghoul take on the Brotherhood of Steel in their power armor without fear, without hesitation. He was just a force of nature fucking clapping them. In season 2, he gets beaten by a rad scorpion. He gets absolutely fucking slapped around, steamrolled by a rad scorpion, which leaves him incapacitated for a long period of time. Like, I'm very confused on like the power scaling. Like, he's sometimes, an absolute menace, unstoppable, and then other times he's just coughing baby and Rad Scorpion comes through and bullies him. It was just kind of frustrating. Like, he is always either extremely powerful when the plot demands it or inexplicably weak when the plot needs him to be like sidelined for a little while on the bench. And Lucy, I really like Lucy as a character. I think she is the perfect character for a Fallout show where she is like extremely, ingrained in her morals. She still says fudge instead of fuck, and she really wants to see the best in the people around her. So like in the Rad Scorpion case, the reason that happened is because she took them off course to try and help someone that was crying out for assistance, and it ends with them getting ganked by the Rad Scorpion. And the Ghoul was like, we should just kill them, you shouldn't do this. And then once he goes down, once he, gets the wind taken out of his sails because he's all fucked up from the Rad Scorpion, he then takes the survivor back to where she came, which happens to get her involved with the Legion, which ends with her on a cross dying. And then the Ghoul has to save her. And even after that, she still stands by her morals. I think it's a really cool character trait to see explored in a universe like Fallout where everyone is in some way a bad guy because they have to be to survive the wasteland. There's no one that's like morally pure or anything, and Lucy's not either. But she tries to be, unlike most people in the show. And I think that's very cool, but because of that, a lot of how Lucy survives is based off of pure fucking luck. So like with the Legion, she survives because the Ghoul came back and rescued her because he still needed her as a bargaining chip. And there are just so many instances of her surviving solely because of luck. Like even at the end of the series, I won't spoil what was going to happen there, but with her father, there was something that was about to happen. Lucy was about to lose, but again, the Ghoul saves her. There are just so many times where she is just saved by sheer dumb luck. Which I think is just a shame because the show has established that she can hold her own. She can do what it takes to survive. And it's not to say that she never does in season 2. She does have a couple of badass moments, but for the most part, a lot of how she gets to where she ends up is just because roll the dice. She got lucky. And I don't know, it just felt kind of like underwhelming after like the third or fourth fucking time that happened this season. Now, that being said, she is not the only character that tries to be a good person. Maximus also does as well. But we can see him making a lot more morally gray decisions, and there's even like a whole swing of things where it seems like he's going in the wrong direction and is no longer that interested in being a good person and, kind of snaps back into it. But it is nice to see a character like Lucy who's all about, trying to be a good person, and Maximus who wants to be a good person but is also okay just kind of really teetering on the edge. I really do like both of these characters, and I just wish season 2 did more with fleshing them out and evolving them. Maximus, I do think they did a good job with, though, for the season. I enjoyed his plot line quite a bit with the Brotherhood. And it is interesting to see him, start turning heel. And like, he's now doing some bad shit that you wouldn't really expect someone that's wanting to be a good person would indulge in. And even someone close to him is talking about that too. Like, we used to make fun of the Codex, and now here you are quoting it. And he's like, well, maybe it's not so bad after the things I've seen. I think that's a very interesting concept to play with. And it is different from Lucy, who is still, even after everything she's been through and all the times her morals get her in hot water and damn near fucking executed, she stands by them. Maximus, not so much. He's a lot more fluid when it comes to his morals and what he's going to do to try and make the world a better place, leave it better than he found it. I do like these characters. I just don't think season 2 did enough with them to grow them. I liked what season 1 was setting up, and then season 2 I think dropped the ball a bit. And unfortunately the same is true for House. I think there are moments where they get like the House from the game, but then there's other times where they just make him like cartoonishly evil, like when he just goes to a bar, starts a bar fight, and kills the guys there for some reason, for the sake of science. Like, that was just evil for the sake of evil. But then there are other times where, like, Cooper, these are during the flashbacks, like I said, I think these are the best moments of the show when it comes to writing. Cooper's, like, talking to House, and then you get to really see House, the way in which I remember him, and what is objectively a more interesting character. One who isn't like fully just like some madman, raving lunatic, evil billionaire guy. He is a bad guy, but a complex character. Like, just as he was in the games, he has a lot of depth, and they show that only in some flashbacks. Like, it seemed like they really wanted to do more with House, but then also felt obligated to make sure this is a bad guy and he does bad things. Watch him kill these guys in a bar fight. That type shit. So that, like, just kind of disappointing with some of the things they did, like with House. But as I said, in the flashbacks, that's when the writing is at its best. Like Coop and Barbara's conversations about, what they're going to do about the end of the world and their daughter, and how that changes their thinking and the way in which they want to approach the problems that they face. I think the flashbacks handle all of that very well. It's just when they get outside of flashbacks, it starts to really fall apart. Anyway, though, I don't think Fallout Season 2 was bad. It was still enjoyable. Like, I did enjoy watching it. It wasn't like a slog, and it didn't frustrate me a ton to the point where I didn't want to watch it or anything like that. I did like it. I just didn't like it nearly as much as I liked Season 1. So anyway, that's really about it. So yeah. Man, I haven't had a giggle quite like the Afro Man trial has delivered. I have been getting tickled all day watching this trial and catching up with what I had missed previously on Dragon Ball Z from yesterday in the trial. It's just concluded, spoiler alert, Afro Man completely won. And I mean, it was a complete victory here. He got him with the Mortal Kombat fatality in the courthouse here. The fucking police officers that were suing him are licking the toilet bowl clean after he shit all over them. I'll show you the clip of the ruling in a moment here. For those that don't know, Afro Man's house was raided a few years back under suspicion of kidnapping and narcotics. They found nothing. It was a complete sham. It was a load of barnacles. And Afro Man had security cameras set up on his property, so he caught all of this on film, and so he started to use some of that footage to make music, insulting them, ridiculing them, making fun of them, turning this misery into some boner jams for his art. And the officers that he has made songs about and made fun of got really upset. They got super sore about it, so they filed a defamation lawsuit against him. And the lawsuit has made it all the way to court, and now it's settled, but we got to witness what has to be one of the most entertaining court cases ever broadcast.
In my opinion, I fucked his wife doggy style. He said it like they were facts.
I don't know how the jury just didn't erupt into laughter numerous times throughout this case. There are so many moments just like that. So he has made a lot of songs and a lot of clips all about this raid and making fun of these officers. And I can't believe at no point throughout this process did the officers think, this is a bad idea. More people are going to find out about this. And that's exactly what happened. Huge Streisand effect here. So many people are learning about Afro Man and the new songs he made about these officers through this defamation trial that's gone to court. So now the songs are blowing up all over again. So like, will you repair my doors? Over 9 million views. Lemon Pound Cake is probably going to start charting on fucking Billboard at this point. This one's going nuclear right now. And it's in part a large thanks to these officers being such fucking bumbling, drooling imbeciles that they actually tried to sue Afro Man for defamation because he hurt their feelings through making fun of them in these songs. I gotta tell you, sports fans, if the officers were upset before, they're inconsolable now. Unless they have a humiliation fetish, they're probably not feeling too great about how this one's gone down, because everybody is making fun of them even more so now. And honestly, this whole case is fucking ridiculous. Like, anyone should look at this and obviously not be on the side of the officers here, because this is so absurd. Really, Afro Man said it best while in court.
Fact, they never should have came to my house in the first place. Fact, if they hadn't have came to my house, they wouldn't have put themselves on the video camera and in my music career. All of this is their fact. All of this is their fault. And they have the audacity to sue me. These people and you are the predators and the victim at the same time.
So what they did, searching your house, gave you the right to do everything you
Under the circumstance that I got freedom of speech, after they run around my house with guns and kick down my door, I got the right to kick a can in my backyard, use my freedom of speech, turn my bad times into a good time. Yes, I do. And I think I'm a sport for doing so, because I don't go to their house, kick down their doors, flip them off on their surveillance cameras, then try to play the victim and sue them.
Amen. All right, I think that about sums it up. He has the freedom of speech to make fun of these officers. They are public officials. They went onto his property, breaking his shit, apparently even disconnected some of the security cameras, which I feel like that should be completely illegal to disable, lawfully put up security cameras around one's own home. I think, and it seems court agrees, he was well within his rights to be making fun of these officers and using the footage of that raid in the subject of his songs, making fun of them, joking around, whatever he was doing with that music, using them. There should have never been a defamation case that went this far in the first place, but the fact that it did was a fucking slam dunk for comedy. So, let's dive into some of the highlight moments here from the court case.
So, you're claiming that is the defamation with your wife?
Mr. Walter.
You're solely being painted in a false light due to Mr. Walters saying he had sex with your wife.
Mr. Walters does have sex with his wife. Mr. Foreman doesn't.
Good catch on that.
Yeah.
So you're claiming that is the defamation statement, is that he said he had sex with your wife?
Yes.
Okay. And that's painted you in a false light?
It's caused tremendous pain in my life.
I'll get to that. We have to go through false light first. So does it paint you in a false light?
Yes, that my wife is cheating on me with Mr. Foreman.
But we all know that's not true, correct?
I don't know.
Fucking plot twist of the century. Game of Thrones writers could never. The subversion of my expectations during this segment cannot be overstated. My jaw was on the floor. So I was already kind of giggly, kind of kicking my feet in my little chair when he was like, listen here, bub. Mr. Walters does have sex with his wife. Mr. Foreman doesn't. Mr. Walters, me, does have sex with his wife. Raw, if you needed to know. What you think of that, tough guy? Yeah. And then, when he's like, so, yeah, sorry about that, misspoke. So, the defamation is, Mr. Foreman doesn't have sex with your wife, and we all know that's untrue. And he's like, I don't know. The lawyer was stunned. Like, the lawyer just went radio silent. I think actually blue screened when Randy Walters, this is Randy Walters, by the way, I forgot to mention his name, star of Afro Man's hit song, Randy Walters is a son of a bitch. So he's now on the stand, and he had a crazy mic drop moment when the lawyer's like, and we all know the claim is untrue about him having sex with your wife, and Randy's like, I don't know. So it seems like he actually thinks Afro Man might have fucked his wife or something. So now he's on stand, and it only gets worse from here. It looks like he starts to get angry at his wife about the claim.
Wait, you don't know if your wife's cheating on you or not?
You want to go there?
No, I just want to ask that question because you said we don't know. I just
Been
need
with
the
that
answer.
woman since middle school.
I know.
I would hope she wouldn't. But you know what? Once somebody puts it out there for their fun and entertainment, it's out there. And it's a problem.
So it's something we cannot verify the truth of? Is it a thing that can be verified, true or false?
Ask your client.
He thought he was playing chess, but he was actually just playing with his own butthole. I don't know what strategy Randy Walters was cooking up there in the noodle, but this is stunning stuff right now. He was giving him like a layup. He's like, all right, so the claim is untrue, right? And he's like, I don't know. I would hope my wife isn't cheating on me. We've been together for fucking years, but now that he's made a song about having sex with my wife, well, maybe he is. And maybe she's cheating on me, and maybe I hate her for it. We'd have to ask Afro Man about that. Because now it's put out there, and now it's giving me a lot to think about. Like, it looks like he starts to stew, like steam there about it. I really don't know what happened there, but oh my goodness gracious, when I tell you I was laughing, I was belly laughing when this guy started saying that. And you could hear the lawyer kind of switch on to like okay, this is weird, but I'll play along mode, where he's like, okay, so you're saying we can't verify whether or not this is like a true or false claim, it's not verifiable info? Because if he's going to try and say that this is defamatory and then turn around and say that he doesn't know if it's true or not, how the fuck can you say it's defamatory? Like, it's an outrageous tactic? I don't know what else to call it from Randy Walters here. It was mind-boggling. As you can probably gather from the song here, this is an officer involved in the raid. Her name is Lisa. According to Afro Man, she even disconnected one of his surveillance cameras. I bet she's really regretting not bringing a fucking EMP device there to blow them all out, so that way, the songs never got made. But here she is taking the stand in court, and boy howdy. So they're playing the Lick 'em Low Lisa song, which is one of Afro Man's tracks dedicated to her. He made songs for like every single officer in the raid. So they're playing her song, her ballad, and she starts crying during it. And they play the whole song as she is like, tearing up. I don't think they're legitimate tears. I think these are crocodile tears designed to try and garner sympathy from the jury, like, oh, look at the toll this has taken on her. So I think that's a little bit of acting there, and trust me, I know acting when I see it. I don't like to usually bring this up all that often, but I actually started in the Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1 as District 8 hospital helper. Not a big deal, I don't really think about it that much anymore. Point is, I know when someone is playing a character, and right now she's playing the sobbing, traumatized officer who is being unjustly made fun of in a song, a very silly track. Like, it's ridiculous. They play the whole song too. They sit her right there like it's a fucking Fine Bros React segment, and they make her listen and watch the entire thing. I don't understand why, to be honest with you. I feel like he probably could have just played like the first minute, maybe minute and a half, and I think the message gets across. It's a song making fun of her. Talking about like how Lisa eats a lot of pussy and, not taking her job all that seriously. I feel like you probably don't need to play out the whole song, but the fact that they did is comedic gold. So the cameraman even pulls off it there for a little bit just to show like the whole scene in the courtroom. And I'm very curious what the jury was doing. Like maybe they were stomping their feet and snapping their fingers to the track because it kind of makes you want to groove a little bit. It's got just like a real like classic feel to it. And then it pans to Afro Man. Somebody give this cameraman a raise. That is incredible camera work right there. As you can still hear Lisa sniffling and trying to get more tears out, it pans to Afro Man as the song is still playing, by the way, and he is just sitting there staring a hole through her. He is just unflinching, just staring at her. I erupted into laughter with that camera pan to Afro Man. And now, it doesn't stop there. As she's still on the stand, they didn't just play the track or anything. They also just started playing some clips that he made making fun of her. Almost as like a non sequitur. They just kind of pull it out of nowhere. Like, can you pull up another insult here real quick? The jury's going to love this one.
Go to the next one. Which number is this?
Number 21, and it's a video.
Lieutenant, look below, Lisa. Stop looking at pussy back there. That's your problem. You're always looking pussy and you don't even know how many pussies you've licked. You don't even know how many video cameras you've disconnected.
What number? That was 21?
Yes.
Did you see that video when it was posted?
Yes, sir.
Let's go to the next one.
Yes, next one, please. They got a whole folder here to go through. They got her posted up there like it's a Comedy Central roast. They don't even like go in there and really talk about it all that much. It's just... Did you see this one when it was posted? Yes, Your Honor. Did you make sure to leave it a like and a thumbs up? Did you leave a comment as well for engagement? Okay, just checking. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I get why it's there, trying to show like, you know, he's insulting her a lot or like defaming her by making fun of her a lot. But like, these are just short clips of him taking the piss. He has a right to do that. Like, all you're doing now is just showing a bunch of insults directly to the person being insulted and maybe making some people on the jury laugh. Like, truly incredible strategy, I've got to say. Again, like, all of this hoopla with the defamation lawsuit from the officers have done nothing but further humiliate the officers and put a bigger spotlight on it.
Sean, you were called Officer Poundcake by Mr. Foreman?
Multiple times.
You
received hundreds of pound cakes at work from different people.
Okay. And the context of that name comes from a music video that Mr. Foreman created, correct?
I don't know where he got it at, but you'd have to ask him that question.
Okay. Well, I'm going to play what's marked.
Okay. Okay.
Stop it there. So you've seen Exhibit D, correct?
Mm-hmm.
You would admit that's you with the glasses walking by a lemon pound cake on the counter?
Yes.
To be honest, this is probably the best promo any artist could ever hope for. They played like all of his greatest hits here from this whole saga directly to the people he was making fun of, and left in all of like the links and the promo and like the calls to action pushing to Afro Man's socials. Like, you could not pay for this kind of marketing. It's too effective. Like, oh my god. So they play the entire Lemon Pound Cake song to Officer Pound Cake, and then they're like, yeah, so that's you, right? That's why they call you Pound Cake, brother. And he's like, oh. Like, this whole trial was amazing. And thankfully, it has a happy ending as well. The cherry on top of the Lemon Pound Cake. Afro Man won. The First Amendment won.
In all circumstances, the jury finds in favor of the defendant. No plaintiff verdict prevailed. So the matter will be concluded with defense verdicts. Thank you, Mr. Klingler. Thank you, Mr. Osborne. Thank you to the court staff and the Sheriff's Department for security in the building. And we'll go ahead and stand in adjournment.
You love to see that right there. So they were looking for a lot of money from this case from what I can see online. Doesn't seem like they'll be getting a single penny. Nothing at all here except for further humiliation. What an incredible defamation case. Fucking goof troop here really came after him. Didn't work out. Those officers were really upset about the songs, and now they got a lot more to be upset about, I think. I had to talk about this. This shit had me laughing hard today. So, anyway, that's really about it. So, yeah. Right now, I want you to try and imagine the worst thing you can think of. Genuinely like the most horrific, traumatizing sight that you can picture. I want you to briefly do it. Not for too long, but I just want you to plant it, burn it into your brain for a moment. Now let me guess what you just pictured. Was it a bear opening your car door and destroying the interior of your Rolls Royce? Yeah, I thought so. Luckily, in this case, it was just a thought experiment, but what if I told you this actually happened? And then what if I told you it didn't actually happen and the claims were all part of an elaborate insurance scam? I say elaborate, but that's definitely not the word to use for it. Almost 2 years ago now, I covered a story about some fucking goobers, some true goofballs, who hatched this scheme where they had one of their friends dress up in a bear suit to go into their luxury cars like a Rolls Royce, and then take kitchen utensils and start scratching in the car as if a bear was the one destroying it. Even though it never even, like, ruined the interior, it just left, like, little marks like a kid with a fork, like, dragged it across the seats a little bit. And then they would go to their insurance claiming that a bear broke into their car and get an insurance payout for it, and it actually worked 3 times. But they were eventually caught when they took a closer look at the footage that was submitted. It is fucking incredible how awful it looks. It's like if I had my buddy Eric dress up as a bear for like a child's birthday party or something. And they just have this guy go into their car and just do this a little bit. It was so interesting. And somehow it took this long for them to get sentenced. I won't spoil the surprise there, but I bet they are not happy and are very much regretting this plan here, this dubious plot. Now, I want to be clear, it's not that it's unbelievable a bear would break into a car. In fact, there's a lot of footage of that happening, which is probably why they chose this in the first place instead of having it be like the fucking chupacabra.
We got some brisket if you want.
Oh my.
He's opened that door. Oh my god.
Psst, get out of there.
Oh my god.
No. Hey.
Oh my god, I got it.
You won't be laughing when that dirty bastard hotwires that car and pit maneuvers your ass to try and confiscate the footage to hide the evidence. It is impressive, actually. To me, that's no laughing matter. That's fucking terrifying. If we gotta worry about bears opening the car doors, breaking in, and stealing our loot or something, you know what I mean? So, and it's more than just this. This isn't the only guy that can do it there. Bears are impressive. Somehow, they've, like, been training. They've learned how to do this for a lot of cars. I forgot to turn off the face cam for this one, so you can see me nodding in approval here. Impressed by the bear's ability to get into this vehicle, and they eventually steal something out of the back seat. It was like a bag of diapers or something, I'm not really sure. But the point is, I know bears can open car doors, but what you'll see in this insurance scam doesn't look like that at all. It looks like just a dude going up, opening it, and then crawling around. It's incredible stuff. But yes, also side note, be aware, sleep in fear knowing that if you're transporting honey from the grocery store, you are not safe. At any moment, a bear could fucking scoot in sideways, open that car door, and rob you. Because they have learned how to open these car doors. That much is confirmed. You saw the California bear suit scammers finally got sentenced? Did they? I remember talking about that a while ago. I feel like it's been like 3 years. They only just now got sentenced. They were the ones committing insurance fraud. Because they were claiming like a bear went in there and fucked it all up, but then they got caught on camera and it's clearly just a guy in a bear suit. And yeah, you're right. It looks like it only just now went through. Humans who used bear suit to defraud car insurers are sentenced to jail. Oh no! And they took the high quality bear suit! What? California Department of Fish and Wildlife biologists reviewed video footage of the attacks on luxury cars and said that the animal was clearly a human in a bear suit. I like how they had to bring out like the certified expert, but anyone with eyes could tell you the same thing. Hold on, let me pull up the footage. It has been a while, so maybe you guys forgot about this. This shit goes crazy, actually, though. It was a very interesting scheme, to be honest with you. Get ready to cover your eyes. It's horrifying. That's a bear in there. Watch out! It's ruining the luxury vehicle. I think that's a Phantom, it looks like. I can't really tell. I don't know cars well enough, but that looks like a Phantom. Oh, he's in the back seat. Oh, God, no. He's ruining it. What's he doing to that degenerate? Oh, the bear's gooning in there. No! He just bought that car too. Wow. That's brutal stuff, man. Damn, look at the damage that he was able to cause. Fuck. Oh, there he is again. That fucking maniac. That bear got a taste of luxury cars and now he can't stop. Yep, right to the back seat again. Mm-hmm. Now he's getting in there causing all kinds of commotion. A huge ruckus. Oh, wow! He totaled it. Oh, no. He's back again! Oh, look at the way he opens that door. He's so smart. Who taught him to do that? Apparently they're going to jail for this, by the way. Imagine going to jail because of this fucking scam. Absolute losers. Holy. They forgot to draw a sea bear circle around the cars. True. I truly cannot believe the horror there. So what did they rule? They were sentenced to jail after masterminding a scheme in which they staged fake bear attacks on luxury cars and collected more than $141K in insurance payouts. Isn't it sad that it actually worked? They actually got paid for that. Someone watched that footage, fucking mouth agape. Oh! Wow, alright. We're approving this, my god. We're sorry this happened. To carry out the attacks, the residents had a person in a bear suit climb into the cars and use claw-like kitchen utensils to leave scratch marks. The residents filed claims to defraud three different insurance companies. Two defendants, Ruben Tamrazian, 26, and Vahi Muradkian, 32, of Glendale, were sentenced to 180 days in jail, or about 6 months, and ordered to pay more than $50K each in restitution. Another defendant, Alifa Zuckerman, 39, was sentenced to 180 days in jail, while a restitution amount is yet to be determined. All three had previously pled no contest to felony insurance fraud. Oh, there's a fourth one. Ararat Trikinian, 39, of Glendale, has a preliminary court hearing scheduled for September. Not immediately clear if they had lawyers. Oh, maybe they represented themselves. Or maybe they brought someone in a bear suit to defend them. Pretty cool. Hey, boo-boo, what do you think we're gonna find in this Rolls Royce? 180 days in jail. Good thing they brought in the biologist. They would have got away with it, too. You see the Lakers beat the Rockets last night without Luka or Reeves. I didn't watch the game because I figured it'd be a blowout. So when I saw that headline, that was more unbelievable to me than this fucking bear insurance fraud. I cannot believe they actually squeaked out a series win. I see no world where they actually win the series, but even getting one game there blew my mind. Oh no, they're also paying restitution, so it's 180 days in jail and restitution. So it's not like they're coming out in the green here. It certainly wasn't worth it, I'll tell you that much.